Hello, good evening, and welcome. You're through to the Inview. My name is Clint Denya. We bring you the Inview every Sunday with a plethora of guests, and we've got a absolutely brilliant lineup tonight. Unfortunately, I had to change the guest list around a little bit, and I'll be telling you and going through who's coming on the show as we have people. A sister show on. It's now going to be on 7 o'clock to about 8:30, 9. Whatever, really, which is your show. This is because we sit in this place that is very alien to us in lots of ways in relation to our normal lives, because we've had much of our freedom taken away. And of course, some of that is down to the coronavirus that they keep banging on about and all sorts. But I will go through some figures, which I will do on every show I do, because I want to put a perception and a realism into it. We're going to try and get away a little bit from coronavirus tonight, but obviously it's something that's worrying everyone. But the sister show in the week is a number you can call, which you can text me tonight, actually, on 07403 436 942. If you can't get on here to comment, I know that could be a bit of an issue for some people, but basically you can text me 07403 436 942, or WhatsApp me 074 436 942, or put a comment in the section here that we can talk about as we go along. The sister show is very much your show. That's on Thursday night. It will be coming up this Thursday, which is for your views, whatever they may be. It don't have to be about coronavirus. It can be what you're doing. It could be anything. If you're sitting house on your own, please ring in. We'll have a chat, and everything about what we're doing right now is reassurance, and that's a key factor. We must have reassurance now, and unfortunately, we do have divides and things like that come into play, but I'll talk about them in a minute. What's on the show tonight? Well, we have got Danielle Silver on at 7:20 tonight, a natural psychic medium. Lives in Glastonbury and does development workshops in Glastonbury. She's been working in spirituality, psychic fields for 32 years. Be interesting when she comes on. And thank you very much for coming on last minute. Then we have 7:50 tonight. We have the amazing Linda Bassett, 30 years experience. She's spiritualist, clairvoyant, spiritual medium, empath, psychic, spiritual seer, spiritual counselor, just about everything, kit and caboodle, basically. She's going to be on, and thank you for her for coming in last minute as well. That'd be very interesting. Then we have a new person to the show. Both Danielle and Linda's been on before, old friends of the Inview. 8:20 tonight, we got Yolandi Boshoff. I love that name, Yolandi Boshoff. And she does guiding to reconnection, emergency, divine soul, working with the Akashic Records and the Mary Magdalene Sisterhood DNA activation. She's very, very interesting lady, and it'll be as all the guests are. And of course, she will be on roughly about 8:20 tonight. And then we have a very special guest on tonight, 8:50, who is a multi-dimensional time traveler. So that'd be very interesting as well. Thank you all very much for supporting the Inview. You can do that in any way possible, because we are now on YouTube, because we're not interrupted on here. There's no interference, and everyone can see and hear properly, which is great. We are going to make changes to this as we go along, and bring in other things, hopefully, as well. So, it's an evolving thing, really. We're on YouTube, bigger audience, and we're here for you. All of us are here for everyone. That's a very important thing. And I'd like to say with that I put a post out earlier on today that has had 37 comments on it. Some good, some bad, some whatever people's opinions are. And, I put a lot of stuff on my Facebook wall because from an early age, I don't like being lied to. And however, my opinion, I put things out there that are funny, that are thought-provoking, that are things for people to think about or look into. It's not necessary to say everything on there is exactly what I think, but I think there's elements of truth in lots of things that are on there. And I put this post on there which had 37 comments, and there was a little bit of a war raging between some people on there, which is not good, because I know we're living in a very oppressive time where we're stuck in houses and we're only interacting this way. Luckily, we've got the internet. All the people that commented on that are all friends of mine, very nice people. And all of us have different views. And that is really good. And that is really important. But the one thing we must remember is that we are all source. So we are all coming from the same arena. Some of us are in the front line, some of us are not, some of us are doing other things. We all got a part to play in this very dark arena that we sit in, which has a lot of prefabricated lies attached to it, which if anyone says there isn't, then they must be living on Mars or the moon. But I'd like to say that division is not what I want to create. Division is not helpful for anyone. We have bad enough division at the moment. And I know people are scared. I know people are frightened. But we have to hold the solidarity of our own feelings, our own emotions. We have to embrace each other at this time. It doesn't matter if we come from differing factions. Because, however you look at it, and the problem is that it comes down to propaganda. And propaganda is what you get on your television screen, on your television set, in news. I mean, my God, you put it on in the morning and it's virtually fear porn, wall to wall. Okay, these people died, these people died, these people are doing this. And it's wrong. It's completely wrong. There is other things going on in the world as well. I know it's a big thing, but I want to put it in perspective. I'm just saying, in relation to that stream, everything I put out there for a reason, because I want people to look at things. And that particular post was about a lady that was sitting on a park bench by a river about an hour before sunset. And a policeman come over to her and had obviously been watching her for an hour, because he said that, you've been sitting here an hour. So he must have been watching her. And he went over to say, you're going to move on and all sorts. And it's very, very in depth. You have to go on my Facebook wall to see it. And she said, no, I'm going to sit here and watch the sunset. There's no one sitting with her, no one around her, apart from policemen that's standing very close by. And he was insistent that she had to move. Now, it doesn't matter what anyone thinks about how or what that is, but what she said was relevant. It's not clear, nothing is clear from this bloody government we have in relation to exercise. Now, exercise is not just physically going out to do something, exercising mentally as well. There's many people that are stuck in flats that can't go out, and the only place they can go is parks. And what they're doing, they're shutting them down because lots of people go there. Well, if you have hundreds of people live in flats, you will expect them to go to an area which is green. They're not going to stay on the side of the road. So he wanted this lady to move on. She wouldn't move on because she wanted to watch the sunset, because she said, I'm exercising my right of exercising. And he said, well, you're not exercising. Are you going? Yeah, I'm going to go and do a bit of shopping, all sorts. Well, can you go and do a bit of shopping? No, I'm going to watch the sunset because I'm exercising my mental health. Now, look, anyone out there knows that exercise, mental health is very important for ourselves, inside ourselves. A lot of people say I'm mental anyway, but I mean, somebody watching the sunset is giving herself her own exercise inside herself, a calm, peace, in almost meditational state. And, it got that bad. It went on for about 12 minutes, 15 minutes or whatever. Eventually, she was arrested because she refused to actually go. Now, look, my problem with it is the fact that, this person's not in anyone's harm, not standing near anyone, and is sitting on a bench on her own. People that walk by will walk by at quite a wide berth. I find it astounding that somebody cannot sit and actually watch a sunset. And she said, once I watch sunset, I'm going to go. And I'm going to go pop the shop and I'm going to go home. I find it astounding. Now, some people won't agree with that, but I feel, and I when I watched it, I was astounded that the clarity is not clear. When they say exercise, everyone you go out for a run or walk. Well, they don't. Some people go outside to sit under a tree and meditate. Some people watch the sky. Some people. What's interesting is that he was going to find this lady. He said, well, I have to give you a fine. And she said, well, I'm not accepting it and I'm not taking it. Because it's not a law, it's a bill that's been passed. That's very different. Now, I'm not an expert on law, but she obviously much more than what I did, and said that, you know, you can't issue me that. Now, what's interesting about this is the fact that they were going to immediately fine her. Well, if you don't move, after a lot of deliberation, they were going to write out this fine, £30, same as what you get, you know, speeding sometimes and stuff like that. The fact is, they're not getting speeding tickets at the moment. So, you know, how many people are they fining hundreds of pounds right now, where, you know, they are exercising the public right? I'm not talking about people having parties and things like that. I just find it astounding in the world that we live in, 21st century, where, you know, unfortunately, a lot of compassion and everything is out the window. I'm not blaming the police officers. I'm blaming the direction that they have. And the direction they have is of absolute non-clarity at all. It's grey as anything. You've got people just say, well, you can go out exercise for an hour, that's it. But you need to bolster that out. You need to quantify what exercising is. People need, particularly at this time, people need exercise mentally and physically, because this is a very grave situation for a lot of people. I know there is a lot of people fearful. I know there is a lot of people scared. But what's important, what's really important, is the well-being of ourselves, in and out. So I do not agree with those police officers. And I do not agree with what happened there. It was a particular incident. And she filmed it, and it is on my wall if anyone wants to go and see it. And there's been a lot of chat about it. But, you know, everyone's entitled to their opinions. And you know, even this show, when I say things and all sorts, people don't have to believe what I say. Go and look at it yourself. You know, I find it unacceptable in this day and age that, you know, somebody's sitting on a park bench, not creating a problem, watching a sunset. Not a problem, really. But they must have stayed there an hour to watch her. And they would not go. And there was no movement. So eventually she said, well, arrest me. She wanted to give me handcuffs, and they wouldn't give her handcuffs. So they took her to a van, and that was it. All I want to say about that is that people that have commented on that, I know you all have different opinions and different ideas. But the fact is that, you know, we do have to wake up and smell a coffee. Because before you know it, you'll wake up and think, what the hell is going on? Because we are in a state at the moment, through the legislation that's been passed through the coronavirus bill, not a law, where they do have extra powers. And these powers, some of them have not been seen yet, but they could potentially be seen. So I do blame the government. I don't blame the police. Police try and do a job, but an impossible job, because there ain't enough of them, because this Conservative government slashed them to pieces. Like this Conservative government slashed to pieces the NHS as well. Absolute disgrace. And still we sit in a place where we still have, unfortunately, an enormous amount of problems with PPE. We're months down the line and people still haven't got PPE. It's a disgrace. People are still not being tested. It's a disgrace. And that Priti Patel, whatever her name is, I mean, there's somebody that just shows no compassion, no care, and no understanding. And, you know, if actually people stood up and apologise, sometimes they got things wrong, people have respect for them. All the time they don't. We don't. But they don't care. That's the problem. And you think they do. And you see, the problem is there's too many people out there that still believe in what you're told is real. And unfortunately, that's where there's a wake-up call, because a lot of people out there know that what they're talking about is not real. I just want to pass these. We have got Danielle Silver coming up at 7:20. I just want to pass these figures by you. We are approaching our 10,000 dead, unfortunately, past people that have passed through coronavirus. Now, communicable disease, this is from Worldometer. You can look this up yourself. Communicable diseases, that is diseases where we communicate with each other and pass something. so far in the world sits at 3,654,390. Seasonal flu deaths across the world. Seasonal flu deaths, this is, bear in mind, 136,908 so far this year have died of seasonal flu. Abortions this year, 11,966,097. It just goes up and up and up. Deaths by malaria this year so far, 276,122. Suicides this year, 301,807. And deaths of mothers during childbirth, 87,010. You know, we have to put this in context. I do believe that the wave, I feel the media and the press basically need horsewhipping here. It's a disgrace. I feel it's a disgrace because I feel that these people that are supposed to tell you the news are absolutely driven by the people that are telling them what they want to do. I'm sure a lot of these people working in media struggle to say the things they say because they know it's something different. Because I'm not wrong, and lots of people can't be wrong in the same opinion that it's almost prefabricated. I find it astounding, and I mentioned it loads of times, the fact 300,000 people come back from abroad, that the government are paying 75 million for aeroplane providers to send back to our country 300,000 people that are not even temperature checked, not even checked of any description. They come from Italy, Iran, all over the world, China, all over the world, and they are not checked. I'm sorry, that's not acceptable. That makes it a complete fallacy. So, and we have 1.5 million people in the NHS, and less than a quarter has still only been tested. I think it's a travesty, absolute travesty. These countries have temperature meters they can use. Why haven't we got them? Why aren't we using them? Why aren't we checking people coming back from places? It just makes it a mockery for me. Absolute mockery. It's just not right. Not right at all. I just do not agree with it in any shape or form. Ryan Fillmore has messaged me. He says, I'm watching now. Hello, man. How are you? He's Facebook messaged me. If you want to interact with this show at any point, you can Facebook message me at Clint Denyer, or you can get to. We will have guests coming up. 2 minutes time. We've got 32 years in spirituality. Jason McCusbro has joined us. Hello, Jason. How are you? Good to see you. And above all, I hope you're safe out there. And again, happy Easter to you all. Happy Easter to every single one of you. It's a fantastic time. And, you know, it is a time of rejuvenation. And we must look at this time as of actually really doing something for ourselves. So it's not necessarily always doing something for other people. It's about reflection on ourselves. It's about looking inside ourselves. It's about where we want to go, what we want to do. When we come out of this, then we can put in practice what we need to do. And talking about when we come out of this, I'm not sure when that's going to be, because obviously there's going to be a decision made on Monday, and obviously it's going to go for another month. Wuhan, we're in lockdown for 11 weeks. We've had 3. So I would think it'd be another month. But nobody actually is talking about the other factors. I know I bang on about it a lot, but the homeless. I know that I read that 300 homeless were given accommodation in Bristol, which is great. There is thousands of people across this country that are homeless. Does anyone even care? Is anyone looking for these people? And, you know, with the PPE, we're not just looking at the NHS. We're looking at carers. We're looking at people that look after people. We're looking at bus drivers. We're looking at roads, you know, all the people, cleaners, people that work in shops and everything else as well. We have somebody on the phone. It's Danielle Silver. Hang on a minute, Danielle. Hello. Are you there?
Hello.
How are you?
You all right, Clint?
I'm very well. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I've just pushed this in. Yeah, I can hear you now.
Fantastic. How are you doing, Danielle? It's great. Thanks for coming on as well. I know you were meant to be on, then you weren't, then you are. What about that?
I know, we're a bit confusing, aren't we, .com?
Well, I'll tell you what, everyone is at the moment, aren't they? It's a very confusing time.
I know.
How are you? Yeah. How are you surviving? How are you finding it? Is it okay?
Obviously it's a bit of a roller coaster of emotions for me, like everybody else. I think even though we are light workers, we're still obviously getting caught into the emotional side of it. It's at the moment I've sort of turned it around because I'm doing 11 o'clock every morning. I'm giving out free cards to people just to try and boost people's morale.
Yeah, I've seen that.
And I'm going to do it tonight after I got off the phone for you at 9 o'clock. I'm going to be doing some distant healing for
Brilliant.
People, for their friends, for their loved ones, for their community, for their neighbours, for the world, for Mother Earth, for everything. Do you know what I mean? Just so it's only for about 15 minutes, but just to do positive. I'm turning it around to do positive stuff. I'm just,
right.
That's the only thing I.
Yeah, I feel inside us. We feel we need to do something
to help others. Basically.
Yes. Yeah, and it is very much also about reconnection, isn't it? It's about connecting to source. I mean, I spoke about it just now. I put a post on that a lot of people were not having a war over disagreements and all sorts.
You talk about that.
And I do feel that we have to put down and just respect other people's views.
Absolutely.
And in the spiritual community, we all share root source. Do you know what I mean? And yes, there's going to be people more frightened than other people. Yes, there's going to be people that all of us have a job to do at this time because we all sign up to be here at this time.
Well, that's what I say with the distant healing. I don't really care what spiritual vehicle you get in, as long as you're working towards the light. And we all want to put out that consciousness of wellness, and I won't even say the name of the virus anymore because I call it vanish because we want it to disappear.
Vanish. It's like that. It's like that.
To go.
Yeah.
I think working with affirmation of not even giving it the energy and saying the actual name anymore. Do you know what I mean? I just call it the virus or vanish. I want it to go. People I've got two little dogs, and they're picking up on the energy. I think animals are picking up on it, children are picking up on it, but we've got to try and turn it around and try and look at the positive of when we are coming out of this and how we're going to change, because the birds are coming out in the morning.
It's beautiful. The weather's absolutely lovely.
It's beautiful. Yeah, it is beautiful, and it's also making people think about their own mortality. What's important. People are reaching out love-wise. They're reaching out to loved ones. They're contacting people they haven't contacted for years. That's a real positive side of it. Do you know what I mean? So we've got to try and hold on to these positivity, really.
And I think people that question everything, which in what we're doing at the moment and what we're in, and everyone has their place, don't they? You know what I mean? In relation to what they're doing, and some people won't know what that is because they're going through a transition or influx. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I see what. Yes, they are. Yeah, they are doing that as well. Yeah, you're right.
There's a lot of people that sit in a place at the moment which look at what they read and what they see as being everything. But,
well, I'm trying not to look to. I mean, when I first self-isolating, when we first stopped going out, I was listening to the media. I've stopped doing it as much now because I find it.
It's fear. It's fear-driven. It's fear porn.
Yeah, it is, and it's
absolutely
not good for your spirit
disgusting.
Or soul or anything. Yeah, so I try not to. I mean, I even I put a video of things that the politicians do, and especially the Tories come from nature. This is it's a chemical, I believe, and I do believe that we really do have to support each other at the moment.
I completely agree with you. I don't think it's come from nature, and I don't think it's come from people eating dogs and eels and God knows what in China. I think that this is a man-made disease that's created.
Absolutely.
And I sorry.
Yeah, go on.
No, you carry on.
No, that's what I think. I do feel that, and I feel that it's it's, I said, I've never done cards online. I've interviewed people, but I've never done it myself, actually, because I work in a very strange way. Do you know what I mean?
No, we all work in our own way, don't we?
Yeah, and I do normally I do a little meditation before I do a reading.
Yeah.
And a cool thing for ages. I did it out of a hat, and then eventually I sort of got the hang of taking. But it's sort of like I do a sort of tune in, and my daughter said to me, "You look so weird. You're just sitting there making these funny faces." And I think I've put in front of the computer, I've got a big amethyst crystal. I've got all my crystals in front of me, and I've made a little altar here in front of me, and I've got a burn, and I've got a plant, and I've put so it's really a load of stuff in front of the actual computer, because I am quite, I'm very, like most psychics and mediums, I'm very sensitive to all that's why we mess up with the computers and things like that. So I just feel that, to make it better, but it's also about change, isn't it? It's being flexible, it's being change, it's going with change. And as much as I don't like it, we do have to change. And it is going to be a brave new world, Clint. It's going to be a brave new world. We've got to change.
I agree, we do need to change, because the way that the world was and this country was completely wrong.
Absolutely.
And we need to show more compassion, more understanding, more care, and everything. And that and lose the have and have not scenario. And actually, we need to have a unity. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the unity of love and of
because
light.
this does throw up a lot of things. There are people out there fearful. I'm not going to mention any names, and I'm sure you won't as well. And please don't. But there are. I know you're in Glastonbury, and there are some people in Glastonbury that have obviously looked and seen that there are people on the streets, beggars.
Well, that's I've spoken about that on I don't think that's happened where they're meant to go. Do you know what I mean? Unless they're showing them to go somewhere.
Where do they go? But there are some people that really kicked off the fact that these people are out there. I find that quite astounding, to be honest.
Well, yeah. Well, if they're not giving them somewhere to go to self-isolate, it's bloody ridiculous, isn't it? I mean, you don't have to be rocket science to...
No, I know.
How are they going to self-isolate if they've got nowhere to go? It's, stupid, I mean, but at the end of the day, I don't know. I just know that I'm hoping. I've seen another post where in Germany they're putting plastic bags on railings of food for people.
I've seen that. I put it on my wall. I think that's brilliant. Yeah. What a great idea.
Really, that's the way forward.
Yeah,
I mean, the way forward is for everybody to be community minded and to not be in this sort of corporate world, and just realise that we do, if we want to save our planet, our families, people to self-isolate, they have got to provide them somewhere to go. And that's, someone told me they would give what's it called, that one, was it that holiday place, I don't know, Holiday Inn or something,
Premier Inn or something like that,
Premier Inn or somewhere like that. They were giving up rooms for the homeless there or somewhere.
Right.
I mean, they do need to do that. I do feel that they need to do that. I mean, they do need to get, they can't expect people to have something they haven't got, do you know what I mean?
No.
That's ridiculous. I might be wrong, but I just feel like it's a no-brainer. It's like a chemical war. We're our grandfathers and that, they went underground. They stayed in bunkers for ages and did all these things. I mean, we're being asked to stay in our own home. With lots of us got luxuries in our home, and it's like, I must admit, the lady on the park bench, I don't agree with all what you said there. I will say this.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Because I feel, yes, you are so right, 100%. People with mental health issues do need to find peace of mind. They do need to exercise. They do need to go somewhere quiet. But to sit on a park bench, that would attract other people to park bench. And where do you stop? There'd be like sort of 150 people sitting in the park saying, "Oh, exercise in my mind." Well, go to some, a bit savvy, go somewhere a bit more quiet and do it, not in front line where the police are, so you're going to come and, do you know what I mean? Or just not 100% behind you on that one. I do feel...
this
you know,
is
I
what
do
this
feel,
show's
I mean,
about.
I've like tonight, I've had personal messages from people in North Wales. A guy I know, Alan Binns, he's in hospital. That Sarah Perkins, she's got the virus. My daughter's who we're in Glastonbury, her sort of youth club leader, they've got the virus. You know, somebody else on the hill got the virus. You know, do you know what I mean? It's like, it's very real, Clint. And
oh no, I'm not saying no. I'm not disagreeing that it's very real.
Yeah.
What the one thing that my own opinion is the fact that that we have this every year. This is out there.
No, it's not. Not like this. Not in your lifetime or mine. So, you know, this is the most. You know, this is the. You know, I felt I've had to step up, and you know, as I said, I didn't want to go online and do those readings, but I felt I needed to. I need to do things to keep myself on a level with my family. You know, I've got my daughter who's on her own with 2 kids, self-isolating. I'm worried about. I can't worry about them. Just got to trust and hope and put it out there to my guides and angels. They're going to be protected. Couldn't see my grandson on his birthday. I couldn't see my son on Mother's Day. You know, do you know what I mean? It's a really real. People are dying out there. They're getting ice rings filled with dead bodies. Haven't even got enough mortuaries. You know, do you know what I mean? For to put all the dead bodies. It's, you know, but as you say, we can't go into try and heal this the best we can. The best we can do is with light workers is to focus one light going around loved ones, around Mother Earth as we.
Oh yeah, you can. I mean, you can see the Himalayas. We never seen before. There's dolphins swimming in Venice.
Like, this has got to change, and we've got to heal, because, you know, like you said, I don't know if something's going to happen in November. I don't know. A few weeks before, actually saying that 20 odd years ago, I did say something was going to happen like this. I remember saying to people, I know it's going to come down, and this is what's happened. I mean, I wasn't sure what it was going to be, but, you know, so, yeah.
and our soul, when we come into these bodies, and we're in these bodies, and we all meet up, and a lot of us meet up from past life, all met each other before. All were here for a specific purpose, to be here at this time to go through this as well.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I feel that you and me and everybody probably goes on your show. We're all working to do the, you know, light workers, trying to do our best to heal as much as we can, and hopefully make a difference. You know, and you know, even in the short time I had to get, you know, going on screen. People's stories are so touching. You know, do you know what I mean? People are saying, "Oh, thank you so much. You've helped me today," and this is, and I thought, how lovely is that? You know, I had one lady, Clint. This has really touched you. She said, "Oh, can I have a private reading with you?" And I said, "Well, actually, I don't do it on screen normally." I said, "So no, not at the moment. But if I ever do, I'll get in touch with you. But at the moment, I'm not doing it on screen." But and then she said to me, she said, "Well," and then she contacted me back and said, "Well, could you give me a name of a charity so I can send some money to, you know?" But
that's really nice.
Yeah, and I was really touched by that. I thought, how lovely is that? So the human spirit is lovely. There's some beautiful, beautiful souls out there.
Oh, there is, and I agree. And there's a lot of people that are come to terms with that. And there's a lot of people who have exactly the same opinion as you, of in a way being something that's been created, man-made, if you like, to for lots of different reasons. A lot of them can be quite negative, unfortunately, but we have to rise above that.
But I didn't want to get political, but on the political thing with Boris, I did see the thing about him coming out of thing, and he did say something about he seemed quite humbled for him, and I just think to myself, I'm hoping that him getting ill has given him a different perspective on the NHS, and that we need it.
Well, I mean,
because, you know, being in a privileged way that he is, do you know what I mean? You know, hopefully make him see things differently, but he's only one person, and the trouble with most people, it has to happen to them before they actually change, and it's a shame, really. But let's hope and trust and focus on something positive happening from it.
Yeah, and it is, as you said already, it is very, very interesting and difficult time. But, you know, it is about staying positive, keeping the immune system up, being focused. It is about, if we want to, helping, doing things and all sorts, but it's also looking at ourselves. And there'd be many, many people that because there's nothing else for them to do, because the vast majority of people, what they do is they go out and do things which detracts away from looking at themselves. And obviously that in itself causes a lot of problems in relation to families that live together that aren't normally seeing each other most of the time. Do you know what I mean? It does cause a lot of problems, a lot of issues, a lot of concerns. And something that's not talked about, obviously, is the fact that, you know, we're all trundling along at the moment, but financially, a lot of people are in brassic places. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, you know, self-employed not going to receive anything to June. And it's a difficult time. Do you know what I mean? Financially as well.
It's a difficult time. Yeah, and everyone is fear-based about that. I mean, I've just myself, I'm trying to. I mean, I'm not a gardener, and I'm trying to be one at the moment. You know,
green hands. Green hands are really good.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Yeah,
it's very grounding.
Food, really.
It's very grounding.
Yeah, and it's good for us at the moment. Well, it's always good for you, isn't it? The garden.
Yeah. And the sun. We need the sun as well.
Yeah, but we don't need to sunbathe, do we, too much?
No. But you can be out walking about, doing something, pottering about in the garden, whatever. Yeah. Or if you want to, sit in the garden and soak up a few rays. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do feel blessed that I've got a garden. I mean, like you said, people that have got flats and they can't go out at all. I do feel for them, you know, do you know what I mean? That's not nice, you know, so, but it's a time for reflection, isn't it? A time but also for action of like change, and that, you know, for people to see that we can't carry on like this and we've got to change, you know.
Yeah.
You know, the planet has kicked back.
Yeah. You know? Well, nature, I mean, we are part of nature, and people forget that because we're not machines. We are part of nature. Our human bodies are made up of nature, which is source energy. And if things happen on the planet miraculously big, it has an effect on all of us in lots of different ways. And
I've been sorry.
No, you can't. Yeah.
What I've been doing, I don't know if this is anything, I've been told to do this anyway, but I do it, cut an onion up and and some people laugh at this, an onion and an orange and salt, and bring it to the boil and breathe it in a couple of times a day, hopefully. So we've been doing that and drinking lots of hot water with lemon and vitamin C and doing things like that, trying to keep us, you know, doing all those sort of things, really, to try and keep and taking aloe vera as well, because I think that plant's really good as well. So I've got some of that. So, but I'm hoping that that will help. You know, I mean,
I'm sure it will, and I think most people, if they keep their immune systems up, and obviously most people are abiding by what they're saying, that they're not, you know, they're just going out there every few days, buy a bit of food or whatever, and a bit of exercise, and that's about it. And it is a time to bring out our creative abilities, write a book, do a bit of paint, do all sorts of manner of things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That we don't normally get time to do as well. And obviously you've been in the field a long time in Glastonbury, and obviously you run a development circle there as well, don't you? But obviously not at the moment.
Yeah.
But interestingly,
well, no, I had to shut all that down.
Interestingly, I watched a YouTube video of you where you were at the centre in Glastonbury. Was interesting.
Which one was that?
That was the one at the is it a tourist information or the?
Yeah, that's the one I last did. That's the last one I did. I tell you what happened, right? I was doing those little videos, and then we were going really well, and then my son got ill, and so I couldn't do them for quite a while, actually, about a year. And then I picked them up again, and then I lost the thing for the computer, so I couldn't log into it. So I didn't do it for ages. So I found it since I've been home, so that's good. So I've started doing it again, like now. So I put the distant healing on YouTube, and But
it's really good. I thought it was really, really good.
I mean, Glastonbury, and we are so blessed being in Glastonbury. I mean, I'm surrounded by some beautiful souls. I really do love Glastonbury.
Yeah, it's a very interesting place. Very interesting place.
I mean, other people might not think so, but I think it's lovely.
Yeah. Well, you've got light and dark there, really, haven't you? So you've got a combination of the two.
Well,
so
yeah. You have to look. You know, you have to know when to go into the town and when to come out of the town. You know, do you know what I mean? So it's like that, you know, because it's the energies are heavy at times. So it's like, and getting back, go out sometimes. You know, it's learning the Glastonbury dance, I think.
Glastonbury dance, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, totally, because it can weigh you down. And we've all been like that as well in Glastonbury, because it can get on top, and but when something like this happens, you remember how many really tuned in, switched on people there are in Glastonbury as well, and it's really, I feel really privileged to be here, actually.
Yeah, it is an interesting place, definitely. There's no doubt about that, and I've been there myself, as you know. And it's an interesting place. Yeah. I was asking on Thursday, actually. It'd be interesting. I'm going to ask all the guests on tonight the same thing, which is moving a little bit away from coronavirus, to be honest. But I think it's quite good because vanish. Sorry, yeah.
Vanish.
Well, I'm going to call it vanish. I'm going to copy you from now on. I was asking people on Thursday. I do a show on in the week, which is very much about people ringing in, talk about anything really. Don't have to be about coronavirus. So sorry, vanish. And I'd pose a question: what is a soul? What is your interpretation of what a soul is within a person?
Who, me?
Yeah.
You're asking me? Right?
Yeah. Well, if you don't mind.
Right. Well, for me, my soul, I feel I've been here many, many lifetimes. Do you know what I mean? I feel that my soul's been here many times. And, I have had many realities. That's what I feel. And I have, well, I know, I don't feel, I know that. Do you know what I mean? This is not the first incarnation I've had on this planet. It's what goes with you in each lifetime, basically. That's what it does for me. And when you have a soul connection with somebody, it's somebody you've met in a past life sometimes. Do you know what I mean? And you just know when you meet them. You know when you just click.
Yeah.
And it's easy. It's just not hard. It's just easy, And that's for me. Like, you get the twin flame. That's a different type of thing. But then also you get your soul connection of people you just when you're going. Sometimes you might go in a room, right, and you might just instantly not like, what have that person done to me? They've not done anything to me, and but then when you get in a past life, that person might have murdered you. You know what I mean? You don't know. Do you know what I mean? It might sound a bit bizarre to you. But
no, it's not. It doesn't at all. I completely understand what you're saying.
Yeah. So that's what's happened, and so you just don't. It doesn't make sense. So sometimes you have to do this like soul retrieval, like clearance and things, and also karmic stuff that comes from like families. I think sometimes families, they used to say, "Oh, you're cursed." Some people are cursed. Some families have been cursed. And I do feel that they have to have deep rooting healing trauma sessions. Do you know what I mean? I think you can go back and see what's happened and saying like that
soul retrieval and all manner of different things,
and just put in, and then change it around, put in love, and then you give them a guided meditation and let it go and do all that sort of stuff. So that, for me, your soul is the most important thing. Obviously, your soul lives on, it moves on, it's something that it's our spark, isn't it? It's what we are.
It is what we are. So, it's the mechanic. It's the engine room of the vehicle we're in, which we happen to be in. These vehicles at this moment. I happen to be in a body called Clint, and you happen to be in a body called Danielle.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously, with a soul, one of the great things that the fact that when we come here, it is all mapped out in front of us, and you talk about parallel lives and things like that, and there is an element of that as well, because I do feel that all of the people you meet here that mean something, whether it's family, friends, whatever, and even down to the people you meet that you think, well, I'm not going near that person. They're people you met before.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Yeah, I think, and I think, the best, for me, my best way is in life is when I don't really the modern world very well. The best way for me is just
I don't think anyone does really, to a degree, if they really look at it.
Go of the conditioning, really. I mean, just go with what I feel.
Yeah.
And when I sort of like let go of what you know, sort of, oh, that's meant to be the right. If I just let go, and my guides and my angels and sort of tell me what to do, then I'm okay. It's just when I try, it's when you put logic, that's not the way.
Yeah.
Back on again. So there you go. So I was meant to be with you today.
Absolutely.
So we're all in.
So where can
right
people?
Place at the right time, aren't we?
Absolutely.
We're in the right place at the right time.
You're on 9 o'clock tonight, is it? You're doing on
yes, I'm doing
Facebook Live
tonight. If anybody's listening, what time do you finish at 9? Isn't it?
9 o'clock roughly, yeah.
Yeah, so they can switch.
Yeah, don't worry, it won't. It'll be fine. We're not going to clash.
So yeah, no, we're not, because I took for a few minutes anyway before. So,
yeah.
So when you finish with Clint, guys, switch on to Danielle Silver Medium, and then you can come onto my wall. I give priority readings to people that leave messages. So yeah, I like that, doing that to help lift spirits. Okay. And it's good for me to help you because it helps me. And it helps me
of course. And it's a two-way exchange thing, yes.
Absolutely. It's all about the energy, isn't it, Clint?
It is all about energy. Everything is about energy. You're absolutely right.
Energy and love and light. That's all we like.
Absolutely. And anyone wants to link up with you, they can catch you on Facebook as well under Danielle Silver.
Yeah, Danielle Silver Medium.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, it's fantastic having you on.
That's all right. Thank you for asking me.
And just before we go, Matthew John, who's joined us, says, do you think we need a revolution or evolution?
Oh, that's okay. Do I think we need a mix and fighting? Doesn't it help anyone? Does it? You know, we need evolution. Evolution would be like everybody dying, wouldn't it? I don't think that. So, no, we need compassion, understanding, and we need what we need. We need spirit, cooperation, compassion, and understanding of nature, the planet, and ourselves. That's what we need.
That's well put. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, we'll speak to you again soon, Danielle. Thank you very much.
All right. Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Right.
Bye. That's Danielle Silver, all the way from Glastonbury, talking about what she's up to, what she's doing, how she's surviving, all sorts. I'd like to say hello to Patricia De Angelis, all the way from Sydney in Australia, has joined us. Welcome along, Patricia. She's on the show in the not too distant future. Matthew John says already joined us as well. Welcome along, Matthew. And Jason McCusborough as well. And I know there's a lot of other people listening out there aren't in the comments. If you have any comments or anything you want to say and you can't get onto YouTube, she put in comments, please WhatsApp Clint Denyer at Clint Denyer 0740. If you want, send me a message on that. I've got Linda Bassett is up next. And she's actually texted me and said that there's been a few interruptions in the broadcast. I don't know how you finding out there. Are you finding this is free flowing tonight, or is it being interrupted at points? I haven't noticed that myself. We had a lot of that on Facebook when we were on their Facebook Live. So we do have coming up next Linda Bassett, who again comes through a very spiritual field. She's been working it a very, very long time. She's an empath. And I do feel it's really important to bring together community. And even like that, you know, when some people agree, some people disagree with what I was saying about a woman sitting on a park bench, it doesn't matter. But we have to find a consensus to be holding a space together, because it is about community. It's about being together. That's really, really important. So let me know if you're having trouble watching this tonight in any shape or form. You shouldn't do. Everything seems to be working all right. But you know, let me know. I know that the connection comes up sometimes a bit unstable, but I'm sitting here right next to the big blue hub. So yeah, let me know, and let me know what you're up to and everything else. Apparently, there is a lot of interruptions. Hello, is that Linda? Hang on a sec. Are you there, Linda?
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Yes, and yourself?
Very well, yes. I'm sorry if it's buffering and things. I have no idea why, because I don't see anything here that's saying any different.
It's constantly cutting in and out at this end.
Really?
And it's coming up with a little message. It says the streamer, and then it doesn't say I can't. It doesn't say rest.
It's very odd, isn't it? Very.
Started when you used the word PORN.
Oh, did it? When I used that PORM word?
It did, yes.
Funny that, isn't it?
It did. Anyway, dissipate, and you can have a enjoyable rest of your show.
Yes, thank you very much. Thanks for joining us at last minute as well. I mean, we're a movement.
I've been listening to, was it Daniela?
Danielle Silver, yeah.
Daniela or Danielle, the onions and the ball. I really feel quite strongly about it. It's like putting car. It isn't going to run properly.
That's right. And I not eat McDonald's or anything like that, are they?
That's very true. By 22%. So until McDonald's open again,
yeah.
I haven't had a chance to look up the percentages of what those figures relate to, but what I have had a chance to do is, obviously we're up to plus 10,000 people have died since this started. With, just looking at the UK alone, not looking at the world, not the globe, but just the UK, our little island, our little powerful island, which is becoming more and more powerful now that we've left the EU. Our little island alone, 10,000 people. There's a population of 6.65 million people live on our little island, including Scotland and Wales and Ireland. And that does not even equate, the death toll figure does not even equate to 0.17%.
Yeah.
0.1. That's not even 1% of the population. So I haven't had a chance to look again. As you say, it was very short notice I stepped in for you.
Yeah.
I haven't had a chance to look at what the chances are of winning the lottery.
It's millions to one. Millions.
However, absolutely. So, but people still do it.
Yes.
But people still do it. So what I would like to say to yourself and also all the listeners is the fact that we are being put into a place of fear over something that has a very, very small percentage of actually touching you.
Yeah.
This is not an airborne disease. It is a virus. We go through so much. Our immune system goes through so much every single year. And the one thing I feel that people are really forgetting, you were just talking about what is a soul. I really feel the one thing that people, either they don't believe in it or they're forgetting, when it is your time to exit this earth plane at this time, you can't change that.
Yeah.
It is predestined when you will arrive, when you will leave, and what lessons you will learn while you're here. Now,
and those lessons can be experiences as well,
Please say again?
Those lessons can be experiences or even karmic unraveling,
Absolutely. For whatever purpose you're here for, you're here for that duration. And that duration does not change. It's my strong belief very strong belief. It's almost like the claircognizance, as in knowing.
Yeah.
Is that it's predestined. You cannot change it.
There is another way of, sorry to butt in, but there is another way of putting it about. And it might seem a bit strange, a bit harsh, but the fact is, as those figures I was reading out of Worldometer, there was 136,000 people have died so far of flu-like virus. And obviously that would be, I would imagine, the coronavirus taken into consideration with that. But, you know, we are born, as you say, and I'm not being flippant with this at all. And we like to keep things, we like to keep everything and everyone here, obviously, because we care about people and stuff. But as you say, and I know that it's a very difficult subject, because people find talking about death very difficult, and I can understand why, because there is fear attached to it and all manner of different things. But we are born, and as you say, that journey is one that we're here for purpose. Whether we know that or not, we find out what that is, or we may not. But we do die. And, you know, if we had, and I'm not being flippant in saying this, all these people didn't die, or no one died, we'd be overcrowded beyond belief, wouldn't we? It's a nature's law. It's a very tough one. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. And this is why, where I'm going to say the good old days.
The good old days when we went outside.
Yeah.
When we went somewhere.
Allowed to die naturally.
Yeah.
You know, they don't allow animals to suffer. They are either put to sleep or they do die naturally. There's this compulsion now about the human race that we must not allow a human to die. And we need to keep that human alive as long as possible.
Yeah.
And, you know, do not resuscitate is written all over my paperwork, because I know that when it's my time to go, I will go.
Yes.
Now, there's some people saying, well, let's hope that's sooner rather than later. And there's others that, you know, there's still a lot of work for me to do. So therefore, I know that I'll be here for some considerable time. However, what has driven this health service, this government, to want to keep people alive when there are not the resources? There's not the food resources, there's not the financial resources, there isn't the energy resources to maintain and sustain that population growth. So in the old days, it used to happen naturally. Yeah,
and in nature it does. In nature it does.
And in nature it does.
Can I just read a few comments out that's come on board?
Yes, of course.
Patricia DeAndre says, yes, it's buffered a bit. And Matthew John says, I think there's a lot of people online, so maybe that's why. It probably is, actually. Maybe a lot of people on the net. And Matthew John says, maybe 10,000 that's died of coronavirus. But he says, I don't trust anything that's reported in the mainstream media. So Patricia agrees with him. Matthew says, maybe, but sure, this is about the soul. Maybe, but surely free will, you can change your destiny as we have the final say. And Jason McCusbrough says, a soul is simply the whole universal knowledge and existence in one entity. And Matthew John said, since when did the government care so much? You want to come back on any of them comments? That's
I didn't hear that last one that Matthew John said about what, sorry?
Since when did the government care so much?
Well, because it's a money-making exercise for them.
Yeah.
It's money-driven for them. Now, we all know that money doesn't exist, and we all know that, you know, money in the real world just is a non-entity. However, we need to also potentially look at what is this all about?
Yes.
What is this actually teaching us? Why are we going through this? What is this doing for us as a human being, as a soul? And I completely agree with Cusbro that, you know, the soul is within, I necessarily agree with Matthew that you can change your destiny, because I think, there's a long way round and a short way round, but I think, the end exit date will still be that exit date. You can have a hard journey or an easier journey, depending on your choices, because you do have choices.
Well, we have choices every single day, whatever we do in our life, we have a choice.
Absolutely. And health, and keeping our immune system at its, optimum health is so critical. And I was looking this up earlier, and somebody did a Facebook thing earlier today. And they said, looking at the World Health Organization, the word health means complete, optimal, physical, mental, and social well-being. So that is something we are all exposed to on a daily basis.
Yeah.
So going back to the lady on the bench, for her well-being mentally, she needed to see that sunset. She needed to do that. So this affects all of us in different ways. So what we need to do is now look at ourselves and prepare, almost like you're going for an exam.
Yeah.
How can we change ourselves? What can we do to prepare for when we're no longer in the safety of our own homes?
Yeah.
And I would say the safety of our own homes, because most people, even if you go on holiday, most people would say, "Oh, I'm glad to be home."
Yeah, I know. They all home. They all miss home.
It's a lovely experience to go out and experience, but you come home and you think, "Oh, it's so lovely to be home."
Yeah.
So yes,
with your things around you and the comfort of your own place, your womb, in a way.
Exactly. Now we've got the different avenues of that with the domestic abuse, which we've spoken about. A lot of single people love being on their own. They enjoy their own company. They have their own ability to grow within themselves a lot quicker because they're not having other people interrupting their thought process.
Yeah.
And you've then got the people who, I've got a lot of clients at the moment that are going through really, really difficult relationships.
Yeah.
And I really don't envy them being in that position now where the safety of their own home isn't that safe.
Yeah. Because
they feel very vulnerable. And yes, it could lead to the domestic violence that we were talking about earlier.
The same as one parent families with 2 or 3 children, even one child. And you're together all the time. And there's no gap.
This is all a learning experience. We can't run from this. There's nowhere to run. You can't hide from it. It doesn't matter what you try and do. So all we can do is try and put on the positive. What is it that this is trying to teach us? So we can look at our health, which is what we've talked about already. We can look at our finances. What can we focus on about looking at the comparisons between what we actually want and what we actually need?
It's very interesting you say that, because I do feel, I'm not talking about ourselves, not talking about anyone spiritual, but I do feel in relation to people out there, I'm talking people that are not woken up yet. They don't know.
No, and this is a really good learning process for them. Where can we save money? What are we expending on that we don't need to?
Yeah.
And so we're going to be looking at health. We're going to be looking at finance. We're going to be looking at focusing and saving. We're going to be looking at our relationships. Well, I used to trust that person, but I don't trust them anymore. Because I'm spending too much time with them, and all of a sudden I realise that actually they haven't got the same values as I have. Or, they're not treating me with the respect that I deserve, or they haven't got the empathy that I thought they did have. So there's a whole learning there about
I totally agree with you.
with empathy, unconditional love, and, you know, also looking at ourselves. What is it that's pressing our buttons? You know, I'm a great goer for going with the flow.
Yeah.
I really, really
Me
try
too.
and not let anything make me angry, because that's wasted energy.
Yeah.
But this is a brilliant time to look at ourselves and think, okay, what is it that is making me angry? What is it that's making me feel uncomfortable? What is it that's causing me anxiety? What is it that's causing me distress?
I agree.
And if people start to write those things down, they can then begin to understand themselves.
Yeah.
Because the one thing that people don't give themselves is time.
No, they don't. Now that is the key. And there is no time now, because apart from people that obviously are working at home and things like that, but most people, there is no time. So realistically, I bet people are going a bit later or earlier, or what, they're doing all sorts of things they didn't do.
Exactly.
I'll just read a few comments out. A few come up. Where are we? Matthew John says, trust is the only form of currency, which is true. Matthew John said, I agree, Linda, and much love. And Matthew John says, learn the law. Common law is public law. Trust and equality is private law, and divine law is at the top. Patricia DeAngeli says, we can acknowledge what's happening, but we then need to redirect our attention to our divine light. We're giving too much attention to everything that's been shown in the media, and therefore adding. I agree to that to a degree. That's why I'm moving it slightly away from vanish, as Danielle calls it, and to the energy that we need to look at.
Absolutely.
And Matthew John says, we've been spending it on bread and circuses and hiding from my shadows. And Matthew John says, yes, Patricia, totally. I agree. The problem is, it's very difficult when I we'll come back to you in a sec. I'm sorry to divert slightly. But you know, the reason for doing this show, the reason why I wanted to do an Inview show is because I want to talk about things that are difficult. Now, to relate to people, like when I used to go out doing lectures and things, you can't just talk about a subject. You've got to bring you've got to bring the union of what we live in, so people can understand what you're trying to say. So yes, we know that, I'm not going to say that word, but we know that the press are oppressive and fear-mongered, and we know that. But if there's flaws in what they're doing, I will be on it telling you there's flaws in what they're doing, because you need to know, you know. And it's like everything. I put loads of stuff on my wall. Everything I put on that wall is for people that I have a feeling within inside myself that there's truth attached to it. I will put on my wall. Now, people look at what is being said there and then come to their own opinions. But we cannot have division here. Do you know what I mean? It's so important to be connected, you know.
Absolutely, because everything is an energy.
Yes.
And we are all connected and we are all one. And that is all based on energy.
Yeah.
And everything around us is energy.
Yeah.
So just to be given that time to listen to the birds and have that time to feel our own energy. What is it we feel about ourselves?
Yeah.
And as you say, there's a lot of doers out there. I've been watching them. I've been watching the doers. They can't sit still for 5 minutes. They're doing. And I'm sending out my thought messages to just be.
Yeah.
Stop, just be.
But in relation to that space where it sits, we within, you know, it wasn't my intention to originally do this show, but then I thought, well, I'm going to do this show, and then I'm going to do another show actually in the week for people to ring in and say whatever. Because if you have a divinity within yourself, I'm like you, I go with the flow. I don't let any of this bother me. I don't let it corrupt me in any shape or form. I mean, when they say conspirators, they're people that are seeking a truth. And if there's people, and this goes back to when I was young, if people are not telling me the truth, I'm going to tell people they're not telling me the truth, and then you actually deal with it.
Absolutely. And I think the one good thing that us spiritual people have a gift within us is the fact, and one thing that people are really, really scared of is the fact that we do know the truth.
Yeah.
And we certainly, if we don't know the truth, we know when somebody's telling us an untruth.
Yeah.
Even if we don't know what the full truth is, we know that what that person's saying isn't the truth. Now, I'm going to bring up Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah.
Look how many years that went on before people had the courage to stand up and say, hang on a minute, something's not right here, this cannot continue.
Yeah.
The minute he goes in jail, he's got this virus. It now turns out he hasn't got this virus. So there again, the media trying to get us to have empathy for a man who does not have the empathy within himself or the compassion within himself for humanity.
Yeah.
So you know, there's pretty much some people who deserve it and some people who don't.
Yeah.
But we still have compassion for those souls because that soul is learning, and that soul is now in a position whereby he has got to look at himself day in, day out and remind himself what brought him to that place.
Yeah.
And that is, you know, that is something, again, I feel very strongly about, because people very often say to me, well, you know, if they've been a really bad person on the earth plane, aren't they going to go over to the spirit world and be a really bad person? Well, no, because their soul isn't a bad person.
They made a choice.
It's a human choice to be a bad person. It's a human choice to have those experiences. That's
it. That I totally agree, because Weinstein also, this is where power corrupts, was in a position of very, very high power. Intense power, yes. Power that nobody thought I could do anything with. Like Epstein, exactly the same. Who's not here,
exactly.
Passed. But, you know, the trail that's left behind is there's only one person.
That's one person.
The trail is huge.
It is huge. And so, you know, we need to hold on to those glimmers of hope and those glimmers of light that tell us that actually, do you know what? The truth will come out. It will evolve.
Yeah.
However, as a human race, we need to evolve with it, and we need to really, really look at ourselves and where we sit, and are we comfortable with ourselves?
I agree. I totally agree.
And the biggest problem we've got at the moment is the fact that the majority of people, well, I would say a good plus 50% of people are not actually happy with themselves or where they're sitting or how comfortably they're sitting with themselves.
Their pleasure is to go out and buy things and do things.
And it's a distraction.
Yes, of course it is. Distraction away from themselves.
So this period of time that we're going through, and I come back to that time's a man-made thing.
Yeah.
You know, the birds don't look at their watches and think, oh, well, it's breakfast. The clock says it's time for breakfast. Or the clock says it's time for bed. But time is so relevant, but all we've got is now. So every day when we wake up, it's now.
Yeah.
It's a new day. It's now. And whatever I would ask people and all the listeners to think about is every day that sun still rises and that sun shines.
Yeah.
The moon shines and the moon sets. Now, we may not be able to see it because there's clouds. But if we were above the clouds, that sun is always shining. It's always blue sky. And the sun and the moon continue to do what they're here to do.
Yes, because nature is it was mentioned earlier on, but it's an evolving state. Nature is an evolving state, and we are an evolving species.
And it's eternity.
Yeah, absolutely.
It has no beginning. It has no end.
Yeah.
It's eternity. And that is where the soul lies within us.
Mm.
There is no end. There is no beginning.
No.
It's eternal.
Matthew John says it's called Stockholm Syndrome. And Patricia DeAngelis, all the way in Sydney, listening. Lies will always be exposed eventually. And she says the past, present, and future is always in the present moment.
Absolutely.
It is.
In the now.
Yeah, in the now. And that is something I think is very relevant to where we sit as light workers. And I feel that this is where division sometimes sits, and it shouldn't, is the fact that, like you, like me, and like loads of people listening or watching right now, go with the flow of energy. Because many of us live in an isolated state anyway, if you like. Is about being dragged, sometimes kicking and screaming, into our reality.
Absolutely.
And there are some people that would find that very hard, and I find that hard. The same as people find it hard to pay their rent, to pay their mortgage, to buy food, to do whatever.
I'm glad you've mentioned that, because at the moment we are being bombarded by, again, the fear mongering. We can help you. We can give you a payment holiday. Please, listeners, be aware interest is being added.
Yeah.
You will still need to pay back that money.
Yeah, and interest on top.
This is not, don't pay it, forget about it. This is, you don't have to pay it now. Pay your rent, pay your mortgage. It's very important. Keeps the roof over your head. Electricity companies, water companies, gas companies, they do not charge you interest. Make arrangements to pay with them. Credit card companies charge you interest. Loan companies charge you interest. Please be really aware of who you're making your choices to pay first, which is, again, looking at your finances. And where you can save the most money, and who is it who's not going to charge you the most?
Because I think you're right.
Need to use them.
I think you're right, and I think that the one thing that's not being spoken about, which should be, is very much down to, which is a bit hidden at the moment, but it's not. It's bubbling away underneath the surface in relation to the situation we're in. Is the fact that there are many people absolutely struggling beyond belief at the moment.
Completely.
That are not being looked at. All we've got is wall-to-wall vanish. Nobody's actually looking at the real people that are actually struggling, that go into food banks, that have no money whatsoever. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. I do know what you mean. And there is help out there for the self-employed, which I've run out of time with you tonight to go through it, but I'm told by a very, very reliable source that HMRC will contact the people who are self-employed if they are legible for this money. It's a grant.
Will they contact anyone then?
Well, they won't be contacting anybody I know.
But I think that goes on the fact that, turnover, and then they look at, obviously, if it's not turnover, they look at something else.
Turnover and a whole host of things.
I think what people won't realise is the fact that what you've just said is very true, and it's very right, is the fact that, people, they're going to get a holiday on their mortgage or whatever. But you will have to pay that back with interest. Now, the businesses as well, all this massive amounts of money thrown at them, every business that borrows anything will have to pay it back plus interest.
Plus and plus.
So, in a way, what we're doing out of a terrible situation, and this is where this country's wrong and where I don't like it, because in the situation we're in, that we've got a government that are making money out of a crisis, which is not right.
Absolutely, it isn't right. However, for us as the human race and the workers of the world, now is a really good time again to look at our own situation and think, okay, what can I learn from this? What new skills can I learn to maybe be a backup? If this happens again, what can I do next time to make it easier for myself?
Yeah.
So what new skills can I learn? What services can I offer people that may not be affected? You know, there's certain industries at the moment that are really booming, and I mean really booming.
Toilet rolls, making toilet rolls.
Toilet rolls and garden centres. So anyway, I hope, I'm sorry, we've gone over time again.
I know. That's all right. Well, it's been absolutely brilliant talking to you. And I could talk to you for hours and hours and hours, to be honest, as I can with every guest on here. But yeah, we have run out of time. I've got Yolandi up next.
What a fantastic name.
I know, Yolandi Boshoff. I think it's a fantastic name. I'm going to ask her what that means, because it means
Brilliant
something.
Name.
We are having you back on, actually. I think May the 3rd, something like that, a little way away.
Yeah, sometime in May.
But,
you on.
Yeah, and we're getting an update. And I think you've been absolutely fascinating. And I know the people out there listening and watching at the moment have found it absolutely fascinating what you've been talking about. And thank you very, very much.
Stay positive. Don't be driven by fear. And don't fear death. Don't fear death.
No, we're going to do a program. I'm going to do a program on death one week.
I think you should.
I think it'd be interesting.
The soul is eternal.
Yeah.
And as the Queen said, we will meet again.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Patricia DeAndre says, thank you, Linda. I love listening to you.
Oh, bless her. Thank you.
It's all the way over in Sydney, that is.
And I just mentioned the Queen. Who knows that she did an Easter speech? Kept very quiet. Nobody knows about it. But she did.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, I love you and leave you.
It's lovely. Thank you coming on the last minute and all sorts as well. I'm very, very grateful. And what lovely words of wisdom you had.
Food for thought.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Everyone.
All right.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Wow. There we are. And we have got our next guest up. Hello, is that Yolandi?
Hi there, how are you?
Hello, Yolandi. Sorry, we ran over a little bit, but you probably realised. I don't know if you've been listening to the show or whatever and catch on what people were saying or whatever, but what a great name, Yolandi Boshoff. What does that mean?
I don't know. I think I remember. I think my mom said my dad chose the name because he really liked it. It doesn't have any specific meaning. Someone once said to me, I'm South African, but it's like a Spanish name. I think it means like purple violet or something like that.
Wow.
So, yeah. But it's a very popular name in South Africa at the time when I was born. So every second person called Yolandi or Yolanda. So yeah.
Wow. And thank you very much for coming on. I know you haven't done anything like this before, have you? But don't worry, because we don't bite or anything. We have been talking a bit about what's going on, obviously, because that's quite a big thing for a lot of people, obviously. But it is also talking about what we do in that as well. And do you want to explain to people what you do, your craft?
Okay. Mine it's so wide. So my biggest passion is the Akashic Records, and that's, I think, where my whole journey into all this stuff started. So I really am very passionate about helping people to get back into that space of understanding their soul and understanding their purpose and really understanding, like, why are they here? What does the soul come to do and express and experience here? And then obviously with that, we want to uncover, like, what's all the stuff holding you back and what's all the stuff that's making you sit back, all of the past life stuff, all the present life stuff. So for me, it's a little bit like, peeling the onion, like uncovering, stepping back into soul essence. And that is the thing. So the Akashic helps me in that space, and it's taught me so much about working in the fifth dimensional energies and stuff. And then, I basically, once we know, like, what the essence is about, we work with DNA activation to help you then grow more into that gift that you hold and all that type of stuff. So, I can speak about this stuff for hours.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's absolutely, we're talking about the soul tonight, actually, because in relation to what I want to guess what their interpretation of soul is. I mean, it's an enormous library we carry within us, and I always talk about a book that with nothing written on the pages, that we actually, when we open a page, we create the picture, the words. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. I think it's one thing that I always find. It's like, you know, when people like come to you and they go, "Oh, tell me the future," and when I start explaining to them about the Akashics and the probabilities that there are, and like there's so much, like you say, there's nothing is written, there's just all these probabilities, and we literally, every choice creates a different branch that we're needing to walk down and that we're needing to go through. So it is a complete open book, and it just leads you.
It is, but and when we walk down that branch, there's other branches that splinter off, which means that, you know, it's a bit like having a sat nav, but we don't got it switched on.
Yes, exactly. And then for me, the most logical thing there is like what underpins all my choices. So if I have stuff like obligation or fear or anything underpinning my choices, then, you know, where am I making myself go? So for me, it's like I constantly teach the people I work with, look at your choice, see what energy is it underpinned with, and that will always take you in the right direction. So if my choices are based on energy that is uplifting, the energy of love, the energy of growth, all that type of stuff, then I'm literally going to be going down the branches that feeds my soul, that like aligns with my soul at the end of the day. So for me, that's the thing. You always need to look at the choices and what is the energy underneath those choices. Yeah,
absolutely. I totally agree. And in relation to what we're sitting at the moment, obviously it's a very, we spoke about already. It's a very fear-driven thing. We're calling it Vanished tonight. We're not calling it by its real name because it's going. And obviously, I mean, like, you know yourself, I mean, I met you at Broadcliff. That's where I met you, the East Devon Mind, Body and Spirit. Never met you before. I was sitting next to you doing readings. You were doing readings and stuff, and we were chatting away. And the big connection, you know, or connection happened because, you know, we didn't know each other, and connection that we do, that we have many times with lots of different people. You meet someone, think, wow, yeah, there's a connection there. And you know, connection in light language, if anything else, I feel. And you know, it was really interesting. I thought, wow, this is somebody fascinating to get on, because, you know, we were even going down the road of extraterrestrial and everything else, which obviously is a reality rather than non-reality, because a lot of our soul is made up of universal core matter, which comes down to the highest forms of elements within nature, which is compassion, care, love, understanding. You know, when our soul is born, and it comes into our body, we chose to be here, we chose to be in the body we're in, and as we walk our path, that branch that you talk about is there, because I also look at it like roundabouts. There's loads of roads, you've got to take one.
And I think just now when you were saying about like when we connected and everything, and just that whole deep connection as well, because for me that's like really fascinating. It's one thing actually with the Akashics and stuff that like sort of brought me into that space of understanding the whole connection with the other star races out there, and working with that energy and the light language and all that type of stuff. And I sometimes feel like at the minute it's like all of this stuff is just happening so that we can get quiet and listen more to those messages from those light beings and from those energies that we've got out there. So I find like even with the light language and everything at the minute, it's like it's so much more expansive, and like people I'm working with and teaching with light language and stuff, it's like everyone's just opening up, and it's like this whole event has almost given us this ability to reconnect with those light codes within. Like it's like people are switching on like crazy. Just the way that they're channeling and all the stuff is coming through, and I'm just going, shit, this is so amazing, because everyone's just like lighting up like Christmas trees at the minute energetically, which I find quite fascinating. And I think, like, even with our conversation, just when we connected on the light language, it's like all of a sudden, like, people are just starting to speak. I'm getting messages from guys going, "Oh my God, this shit just started coming out my mouth. What's happening? Am I going crazy?" and stuff. So it's actually very cool how this whole event has just sort of brought us closer to that part of our souls, and that starting part of our souls as well.
Yeah, and I still look at light workers out there like yourself, like me, like Linda, like Danielle, and like many people here. We're expeditionary, really, to bring together a collective union knowledge, some of it from whatever aspect that comes from, to enhance and help as many people as possible. And at the same time, we evolve and grow within that by what we give. Now, there is a lot of people awakened, because obviously we're in a situation that is a complete travesty, really. But at the same time, as we're in that, but it is one thing that we bang the drum constantly, is the fact that in the place we sit, where people haven't, as Linda was saying, they ain't got the distraction of going out to do something. They have to sit at home. And that's a huge vacuum space, isn't it?
Yes, exactly. So I've just seen so much stuff happening with shadow at the minute coming up and all that. And like, even with myself, when I look at myself at the minute, I don't have all those distractions of doing things the whole time. So there's just so much space. I'm in so much gratitude for this, because it's like even my own evolution and all this shadow shit that's been coming up. It's like, that fear does also, which is an interesting one, because it brings that moment where you go, why am I feeling this? And now we have the time to go, oh, okay, I don't just hide this under the carpet and go to work or rush out and go shopping or go on a holiday trip. Now we have to go, shit, I can't go anywhere. Let me sit at my house and just introspection. So it's just, I feel like I've climbed mountains the last 3 weeks. It's like quite exhausting, this whole process, but it's beautiful. But I mean, bloody hell. And I mean, I think some people are just like feeling so overwhelmed by this. I mean, if you've been doing this for a few years, you'll be okay. But if you're just starting, you're going to be on your knees, basically.
Yeah, and that is very important. I think that's a very important point, because I do feel there's a lot of people switched on out there in relation to what's going on, and there's a lot of people that are being switched on by what's going on, because they're having time now to investigate, look at what we have here. I mean, basically, a lot of the conformity on this earth for a very long time in history, in understanding geography, everything that we've been shown to a degree is a complete load of rubbish. And what you're taught at school is a complete load of rubbish. It really comes down to the ethos of what we have inside. We've been gone down so far one path that has to change, and that change is where we sit now, because how life was, and life was very busy. I mean, yourself, when you talk to people, I've got to do this and I've got to do that and I've got to go here and now, of course, nobody's doing that, and we are talking to people. There's more time, because time doesn't matter as a concept. It's a man-made concept. It really doesn't matter. As Linda said, birds haven't got Rolexes on. Do you know what I mean? So, we go to bed sometimes when we feel like it, and we get up when we feel like it, because we aren't constricted. I do feel that we were under slave race banner, completely slave race banner, in the way we were living, by the ethos of money, clocks, and being places. Do you know what I mean? And I feel that's changed.
Yeah. And for me, it's like a whole thing now also about surrendering into this, because I've been playing a lot with this concept of like trying to control stuff. And I don't know if you've I think a lot of people that I've seen in my community, control is a big thing, because like I control where I'm going, and I control my time, and I control this, and I control, but it's all bullshit. It's like I control nothing. And that's what's so beautiful about this. Everything, I was just saying to my guys the other day, I had like my first 6 months of this year was perfectly planned out. All my trips were, and then all of a sudden, boom, rug out from under my feet. And I'm like, shit, I can't go on any of the trips I planned. I can't do anything that I planned. I have to stay at home.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like, it's just that now it's like, okay, sit back, surrender, and see what happens, because you have no control over anything. You have no control over the money coming in. You have no control over where you're going to go. You have to just be in like complete surrender space, and that is a hell of an art, because then the anger comes in and the frustration and everything, and the universe is just saying, sit back, relax, and see what happens, because maybe this is how we all should be living. We should all just be surrendering to.
Well, I think we do.
Yeah,
I think we do, because I feel that because we have no, we're in a difficult situation, which I feel has high elements of control in relation to what we're doing. There's a lot of countries like Sweden not doing what we're doing, are not restricting people. They're giving their freedom. But I mean, even when you look back on what life we had before, no, we weren't free. We are now, because we are sitting within our own space and our own wombs, if you like, and creating what we want. And it is about looking forward rather than back, and it's in one shape or form as a place to play in this. I just want to read a few comments here. Patricia Angeles, who's listening in Sydney tonight, this morning, or whatever time it is there, it's probably early hours of the morning actually. She says Yolanda is Spanish, but not the second name. And she says she has a sat nav, but never uses it because she likes to find her own way there. Patricia also says normal just wasn't cutting it. And Matthew John said most people will start with anger, especially with finding out the true reality we're in. And then it goes on to say most will have to suffer their own egos, and that's why anger is the first reaction. Then pile on all deception, utter lies. We as people have forgotten the true power we hold. I agree.
Yes, totally. I must say, I think that was something that came up for me as well. Was like when I started checking in with myself and working with my shadows on power and stuff. Oh my goodness, that was like a shit show in itself, because you start looking at all these like stories you're telling yourself, and why I can't do this, why I can't do that, and then like when you actually just look at the reality of it and the connection that we hold. Because for me, the one thing that's become so apparent now, and it's really, really stood out, is just this connectedness of humanity, and energetically how connected we are, and all the messages that I've been getting from my guides and during my meditations and everything is just about this grid that's needing us to like step back up into the grid and step back up with our energy and our connectedness there and everything. So the power that is there is just, it's like bubbling under the surface, wanting to come up in so many light workers now, and then like making that connection, getting that spark going. And for me, it feels like I'm just waiting to plug back into the beautiful grid of Mother Earth again.
Yeah, and that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. Nature is the essence of everything. Whatever belief system you have, nature is the essence of everything. We're in nature-driven bodies, but we have an engine of a soul being, which has immense wisdom and knowledge that has parallel dimensional lives, that crosses parallel worlds, that goes out into anywhere and everything, past, present, and future, as Patricia De Angelis was saying. And with that, we find that, we inside ourselves actually open ourselves more and more. The problem is within the reality we sit in, and particularly with the fear-based narrative that's going on, is to hold people in a space. Now, you have to broaden your horizons in even what you watch, because if you broaden your horizons and watch Al Jazeera or RT News, if you want to watch the news, you get a different perspective of what's going on, because they don't focus on certain places. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the problem with today's life, is that many people want to put people in places and pigeonhole them, and we're not interested, unless it happens to us, we're not interested in what's going on anywhere else.
No, exactly. If it's not affecting me, then it's not real. And I think one of the things that really shocked me, and I think you shared, I think it was you who shared that link, that Worldometer or something like that. And, if you look at the stats of the amount of people, for instance, who die every single day in the world, or just how many people die in Britain alone every single day of whatever other stomach goes, are disconnected
Absolutely.
from what's actually happening in the world. Like, every day, because it didn't affect me. It's just like it just happens, and like we're so disconnected from everything. We just we don't know. And for me, that was such a biggie. It's like, oh my God, like these things are happening every single day, and I am not looking at it. So so for me, it was a lot of wake up calls.
Well, it is, because I mean, look, any death is sad, very, very sad. But as Linda was saying earlier on, it's a fact that we have a course, a run, if you like, and when that time's up, that's it. And no matter how much you want to keep everyone here, it's impossible. I mean, just looking at the figures, I mean, it's frightening. I mean, they're talking about, I know it's very bad, and I know thousands of people have died, but in the scheme of things, it's not as big as some of the other things that are going on. I mean, I didn't even read out the fact that this year alone, so far, deaths caused by HIV or AIDS is 473,512.
Yeah.
And most people would say, well, AIDS don't exist anymore, does it?
Yes, exactly. And I mean, and that's that's not even looking at things like cancer. It's not even looking at things like TB, all of the malaria. I mean, there's so many other things, and no one bats an eyelid. It's just like those things are that we just shove it away again. And maybe this will make us a little bit more compassionate for what's actually happening around us every single day.
I feel it will, if there was a fair. You see, the problem in our world is that we're restricted by what sits in this world, and we throw light at it to change it, and it is changing. There's no doubt about it. But it's the control factor of what hold. You see, what people don't realize is we have the ability inside ourselves to levitate objects. We have the ability inside ourselves to write light language in different languages. We have the ability to communicate without actually speaking. All of these things were taken away and eroded over time to manipulate the whole civilization. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, totally. To keep us powerless and small, basically.
Yes. And anyone rising up or and everyone, particularly in the pertaining to ourselves, where we sit in this situation we sit in at this moment in time, there will be people that will, I mean, it's been said by Linda, it's been said by Danielle, and it's been said by yourself. There are people that have to look at themselves. I mean, with myself, I do what I do because that's what I'm shown I need to do. And I don't buy anything. I don't buy anything that they tell me, because I don't believe anything they tell me anymore, because unfortunately it's a bit like, with the world and the world leaders, which are not real, and what they tell you in the news, it's a bit like being in a very bad marriage where, for a very long time you put up with something and say, no, that's it, I've had enough. I did that when I was about 10.
Yes. I think you're one of the few people in the universe who does that. I think so many people are just, like walking with the blinkers on, and it's just much easier to be following the Kardashians on Instagram than happening in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when those beings are here, but no wonder there's so many more sightings of UFOs going on at this moment in time, because I'm sure that those races are coming here watching over us, sitting there thinking, what the bloody hell are they doing?
I've really been enjoying like this quietness. I don't know, like for me, it's like in the morning sitting and being woken up by the like bird freaks me out. It's like so amazing. It makes me so happy because I was like the other morning I'm sitting here, I'm going, oh my God, it's so loud outside and it's all birds going apeshit in my garden. I'm like, this is like magical. So there's so many amazing things as well at the minute, which is really quite cool, which I'm really enjoying.
Yeah.
So,
Matthew, I'll read a few comments. Matthew John says, most will have to suffer their own egos, and that's why anger is the first reaction. Then pile on all deception, utter lies. We as a people have forgotten the true power we hold. And Patricia De Angelis, who's listening all over in Sydney, saying it's 5:45 in the morning there. Well, thank you very much, Patricia, for hanging on. And Matthew John says, one of the aha moments of my awakening was the realization of being immortal and I will never die. I feel we've all been here since the beginning. Some have been here more than others. You're right.
Oh, yes, totally. And I think, like, you haven't just been here, you've been out there as well, Matthew. I think that's the thing that you need to, like, start looking at, like, where were you before you were here? Because that's where the exciting stuff lies for me at the minute, like exploring that part of the before we decided to come and put ourselves on the earth planes here. So,
and I think
like a whole other discussion.
Absolutely, and I'm going to have one week. I'm going to talk about death because I the thing is that we fear the unknown. I'm not talking about me, but actually, with inside ourselves, we just change vehicles. It's a bit like changing a car.
Yes.
But
that was the thing for me. It's like when this whole thing started, and everyone was freaking about people dying and stuff, and I just sit there and I'm like, but I'm not afraid of dying. And like, this is not, if I have to die, I have to die. If it's my time, it's my time.
Yeah.
I can't control it. So what am I going to do? Am I going to freak out, sit at home, like, be hysterical about the fact that I might die, or just accept the fact that whatever is going to happen is going to happen? And again, I have no control over that. So if I'm meant to be hit by a bus tomorrow versus dying from corona, it's the same thing. It's again, I can't change that.
I completely agree. I completely agree with you, because the problem is, my problem I've got is the fact that what they portray, the fear-driven nonsense in a frenzy. I'm not going to say the word I said before because it all got interrupted. So, because you're obviously being watched where you're on it, is for people, they're aiming at people sitting in the house that aren't switched on, that are worried about dying, that are worried about catching it, and believe every single word that these complete imbeciles tell them.
Yeah. No, I had this really weird vision, and like my guide said to me, it's like when you decide to go and swim in the ocean and you step into the ocean, there's hundreds of sharks, millions of sharks in the ocean. You basically, every time you're in the ocean, a shark can come and eat you. So does that stop me swimming, like from swimming in the ocean? And I'm like, no, it doesn't. So they're like, well, that's life. Like, you step out of your front door, you step into life. There's always sharks out there. You can always be eaten, but most of the time you're not. So stop being afraid of swimming in the ocean of life.
I am completely agreement with you. And my concern and my worry here from this is this complete state that's going to exist after this, which means that you won't be able to have big gatherings, which you won't be able to stand next to each other, because you have to be 2 or 3 meters apart or whatever, and because you might get something. And if we sterilize everything so much, then our immune system and our bodies change. So when we are hit with something, we're going to get it worse, aren't we?
Yes, exactly. And that's why, you like have bacteria on your skin, on your body for a reason.
I've got loads of bacteria. I wash, by the way. but my body's got loads of bacteria. Our mouths are awash with bacteria, and it's our bodies are fighting viruses constantly. And I think the big point here, and I think Danielle was making, which I think is quite true, is that, normally we can fight viruses. But if you have a combination of factors where, say, for instance, it's not a natural virus. It's been created. And then it's got elements that attract itself to, say, I haven't talked about it tonight, but say there's connections to the frequency and vibration of 5G and all manner of other different things, and what we eat, which 9 times out of 10 is corrupted anyway. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You put all those things in a toxic mix, and I feel you've got a problem.
Yeah, you have a little time bomb waiting to go off.
Yeah,
basically.
and it happened at some point.
Exactly. No. But hey, we're still stuck at home.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, how, I mean, obviously you're from South Africa. Have you got family and things in South Africa still? And
Yes. So my parents are there, my brother, they're all still there.
how are they all doing? They're all okay?
Yes, no, they good. I think there's a big call from all the people to say that they want to lift the lockdown that these has been, I think, 3 weeks now, so they've extended it, but it's really impacting the economy, and I think the government's going to make the choice to lift the lockdown to basically save the country's economy.
That is happening here as well. Yeah. They're
exactly.
thinking about
so
that.
That's the big thing, and the problem in South Africa is there's a lot of manual laboring or laborers there. Versus, like there's not so much technology-driven businesses and stuff. It's mostly people working for other people. And so you have no money coming in, because if they're not working, they're not getting paid, so they can't get food, and the government can't afford to feed everyone. So it's a bit of a vicious cycle. So I think they're going to have to open things up a lot sooner there than they would here, because the government can't really sustain it all, which is what it is.
Yeah. And Patricia De Angelis in Sydney says, basically, when we die, we go back home. When you paid or repaid all karma. Matthew John says, we must co-create with prominent authority. We must get over having things and get back to sharing and caring. And he also says, everything in law that was set by our ancestors was put into trust. You can't take anything with you. Like I said before, trust is the only true form of currency. He's absolutely right. We come in here with nothing. We gain lots of things while we're here, but one thing we do is gain knowledge and infinite wisdom, because I always talk about the fact that we are here, you, Yolandi, me, and all the guests on tonight, and everyone listening. We are the end result of everything we've been right now in all lives. So all that knowledge and wisdom sits within us right now. And so if we have all that, we have some of what's in the future, because we go to the future to retrace and bring it back here for now.
Exactly. And that's what I was talking about earlier on, about the codes being like literally switched on now, and like people delving into these hidden parts of them that they haven't seen yet. And it's like I'm seeing so many more people that I'm working with, like creating like complete new modalities of healing and of like just creating so much more stuff, because they just, pieces of them are opening up now, and it's just incredible, like how the old is so falling away, and all of these new things are coming out. And I'm like, even with myself, I'm feeling it so much, like all these brand new ideas that is within me, just like flooding out at the minute. So I must say, it's quite exciting, and I can't wait to see what people are going to be creating and birthing going forward now.
Well, it will, and it'd be very exciting when we all get back out there and can actually, face-to-face help people as well. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously I do feel that there's going to be a mass need for people to readdress, realign, rebalance, reconnect in a way. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. No, I must say, I'm desperate just to sit in a room with a bunch of people and have a good meditation or a good chat or something again. Like, as much as I love online, I would like to crave that connection with my soul sisters and brothers. Yeah.
It's interesting what you say, though, in South Africa, is the fact that they are, I mean, I know our government here, the inept crowd that they are divided over whether to over the lockdown itself, and that comes down to obviously money, and that's the same in your country, same in Africa, as it's same as all over the world. And I mean, the interesting question would be, I suppose, really, that if we didn't have lockdowns, because I feel lockdowns hasn't helped in relation to what we've been in. When you look at a place like Italy, where pretty much you got the older relations, grandparents and all sorts living with the families, big families in houses, I don't feel it's helped, because I feel that it's created a vacuum and a problem in itself. But it would be interesting to see that if you could interpret it, that we maybe had social distancing for a while, but and people wash their hands and everything else, obviously, but we actually, if you could actually put it against the figures of how many people potentially would have died if we didn't have what we had in place right now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I was just, one of the big things in South Africa is, if you just look at how the townships are structured, with the shanty towns and stuff, the social distancing, like, concept there, you can't even, like, literally cannot deal. Like, it doesn't exist. People live on top of each other. And so what are you going to do? It's not going to help anyone. So, for me, it was just one of those things. And I mean, I was a bit shocked the other day when I found out that they were sort of creating these, almost not like a concentration camp, but these camps where they are shipping people to from certain areas to try and create more distance between them. So there's a lot of interesting things happening. And I'm wondering how guys like Brazil and, other countries, I don't know anyone from there, but like, who deal with a lot of shanty towns and stuff like that.
The thing is,
what are they doing?
In our time, I'm sorry to say this, but it's absolutely true, and I'm sure you would absolutely agree with me. We live in the 21st century, supposedly 2020. Those books been written in the past years ago saying we're going to have flying cars and everything's going to be great and all sorts. We live in squalor, a lot of people that are not helped, first of all, by their own governments, but because they're always fighting, or they're greedy, or they hold on to and they don't share. Do you know what I mean? And I feel that with that, you've a huge power base of people that are stuck into shanty towns, and we have the most displaced people in the world as we do right now, millions out of all many countries of wars. I mean, we should live in a society where, and I'm sorry to say this, but I do feel the world has used Africa, had a test base for new drugs, had a test base for lots of things. Do you know what I mean? By a living zoo, basically, that they can, or big hospital that they can do whatever with. And it's completely wrong. And we need to be in a society where these people have, people that have much need to give some so they can have some. Do you know what I mean?
Yep. No, having come from there to here and stuff, it was such a big culture shock to be here and to not be in South Africa where things are so different, and when you move here, everyone's got a house, everyone's got a car, everyone's like, you just look at it and you go, shit. And then people bitch and moan about stupid things. And I'm going, I just drag you to South Africa for like half a minute and you come out of the airport and you see how people actually live in like Africa. And then it's just like, so I was quite irritated when I moved here initially because I was just like, for shit's sake. So it's like my husband always says, he's from here, but he's like, once you live there, the compassion within you, like that you feel for other people, it's almost amplified. He came from Britain and he moved there and he changed so much, and he just sort of that like compassionate side of him opened up.
But what do you see? You don't see anything on the news about that country at all. No, because it's a third-rate country. That's why they don't show it, because it's not a money machine. They're interested all the diamonds they dig out the ground, the oil they get out of the country, but they won't show anything of what's. I mean, RT does, Russian news, and so does Al Jazeera, but nothing on normal television. It's as if Africa doesn't exist. It's the same as many countries. Don't show anything. Japan, Asia, Russia, anything. It just concentrates on the pure lust and greed that they have in the West. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, totally. I feel that. That's what I say. It's just like when you come here, you just look at it and you just go, whoa, this is like, it feels quite surreal sometimes living here. But so it is.
Matthew John says, Yolandi, have you seen, I'm going to try and pronounce this right, Ubuntu in South Africa?
Yeah, so Michael Tellinger, I think he started a political, what do you call them, a group or whatever, called Ubuntu. Ubuntu is a beautiful word where we share stuff. So in South Africa, Ubuntu is about sharing with your fellow man, and it's this energy that connects all the people. So like if you need my help, I'll step in for you and all that type of stuff. Yeah, so he's an interesting guy with all of his...
Michael Tellinger's great. I have a lot of time for him.
So, yes. But he hasn't had a lot of traction. I don't know. There's not he's not made many inroads, but
Well, I feel, I mean, the problem is that it's a bit like, if you imagine Africa and Europe, it's a bit like all of the heads of state in Europe, all basically being very rich, and everyone in the country very poor. And then ruling them, not all countries, but a lot of them, ruling them with an iron bar and doing exactly what they want and allowed to get away with it.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
It's like colonialism all over.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's absolutely disgusting. It really is.
Yeah.
And something that, again, needs to be talked about on another occasion as well. Matthew John says the hoverboard in 2015, he's gutted because he hasn't got one.
Yeah, or a flying car.
Or a flying car, yeah. Producer D'Angeli says, great show, Clint. Wonderful guest speakers. Thank you so much for a very interesting view. I'm off to bed now. Good morning, good night. Love and bless to all. And Patricia says, I'll get you one, Matthew. I'm in the future here. So that's great.
Sweet.
Yolandi, you've been brilliant. And, I know we could, like all the guests, we could talk for hours and hours and hours. We only just started, really. We will get you back on, if that's okay with you.
Oh, totally, Clint. I love speaking to you. So
but,
that's all, us.
That's very kind. Thank you. And in a not too distant future, a month and a half, something like that, we'll get you back on and talk some more about everything that's going on and yourself and what's going on with you as well. Now, if people want to get a hold of you, how can they do that?
Okay, so they can go to my website, divinesoul.me, and then all my social links are on there. So you can then head off to Facebook or Instagram or just check out my website. And like all my information is there, all about me, all about what I do. I'm on YouTube as well. So
Brilliant.
I'm Divine Soul Yolandi Boshoff. So you can check me out there. I post a lot of videos on there as well, lots of free meditations and all those good stuff. So if you interested in some good light language meditations, go check it out there as well.
Fantastic. And we'll stay in touch, and obviously it's been fantastic having you on. I'm glad you enjoyed it and all sorts. I mean, I've got no questions. It just, everything about this show is free spirited, so it just rolls wherever it is, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it was awesome. Thank you so much. That was really fun.
Yeah, and we will speak again soon, Yolandi.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. Cheers, Dave.
Thanks a lot. Bye. Lovely lady, Yolandi there. Lovely lady. That I met down in Broadcliff. That's it. Yeah. Linda's texter and said that's hilarious. All the UFO occupants wondering what we are all doing. Do somebody come to me a long time ago when I was doing talks around the country and parts of the world, and they said, do you realize the Earth could be a zoo? And that concept stuck with me for quite a long time, and I did a presentation on it because it actually meant something. Is the Earth a zoo? Is Earth like we go to I don't know, Chessington or somewhere like that? Do you know what I mean? And we have an unknown guest on here. I don't know it. I put down that he's a time traveler, but I have no idea if he is or not. Hello, mystery guest. Who am I speaking to?
Hello there.
Hello.
Hello there.
Hello.
This is Captain Addict.
Captain had it.
Yeah, well, not for some time, because I'm here on my boat, for the last 3 months.
You've been on your boat for 3 months. You're Captain Haddock. Had it.
Had it, yeah.
My God, how did you get that name?
I don't know. Maybe because my mother had it.
So, where are you ringing me from, Mr. Haddock?
I'm from the West Country, I am.
Oh yeah, I can tell. You've got that sort of accent, haven't you?
Yeah, it ain't exactly hard, is it?
No, I suppose it isn't. It's well, it's quite interesting, the dialects in this country.
Not so much now. I'm getting older.
You're on your boat, you said?
Yeah, I'm about 3 miles out, I am.
You're 3 miles out of where?
Out of port, you silly bugger.
Oh, right, yeah. What, is that where's that, Cornwall, Devon?
There's out of Mary.
Oh, you're out of Mebagissey. Interesting.
Yeah.
And are you on lockdown on your ship, Mr. Haddock? Are you having it on your ship?
Ain't gonna be a lockdown on my ship. There's only me here.
Well, that's all right, because you meant, you can't go back to port though, can you? Because you're not allowed to, because you're not meant to even be working, are you, Mr. Haddock?
Yeah. So I understand. My cousin, he called me up and said, you can't come back. I said, what is that? And he said, because it's some bloody virus.
God.
And everywhere around the world. I said, you're kidding, ain't you? He said, no, straight up. And he sent me some news for it. And he said, well, the best thing you can do is stay out at sea.
Wow.
So,
wow, have you got enough food and stuff to last out there then?
Food, yeah, there's plenty of fish.
Oh, yeah, you'd go fishing, couldn't you?
Yeah, that's what trawling normally does, my friend.
Oh, yeah, you're a trawler, so you're on a fish catching fish. You're not on a fish, you're on a boat catching fish.
Yeah, I'm not on a fish catching a boat, no.
As long as you're not naked outside catching a cold.
No, I don't catch cold, no. Well, I've got a nice warm heater in my cabin.
Well, that's good. Well, it's quite warm out there at the moment. Anyway, you must see some amazing sunsets and sunrises and moons.
Oh, it's absolutely beautiful, it is.
No light pollution out there, is there?
No, nothing. No,
well,
and you see the Milky Way and yeah, it's beautiful.
Milky
really
Way, Mars
beautiful.
Bar, Kit Kat, and Yorkie all in one.
Yeah. Yeah, you say so.
And you aren't going to get the virus out there, are you? Because there's no one there to catch it from.
What virus?
Well, we're calling it Vanish. Actually, we're not calling it by its name.
Vanish? That's some kind of cleaner, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it is. Yeah, but we're changing the name of it to Vanish.
That's what I use on my arms in my galley there. I use them on my arms, to clean it up, Vanish.
Yeah. Matthew John, who's watching and listening tonight, says, "Do you have any semen on your boat? I bet you have, as you must be at one with you must be at one with your right hand."
No.
You said you didn't have a right hand man, did you?
No, you see, I got. Well, you could call them seamen, because last week, because I've been out here for the last 3.5 weeks, because I couldn't come in, sure.
Wow.
I was out about 8-9 miles, and I see this old-fashioned sort of galley, ship.
What, like a Roman galley or Viking?
No, like an old galley.
I thought you might have gone through time and seen one of them.
Century, not kitchen. I didn't say a floating kitchen, did I? No, it's galley, boat, ship.
Did it have oars on it?
Oh, 16th century this was.
Really?
Yeah, and so I get up towards that, and I climbed up onto the boat there, and there's no bugger on there, is there?
Is that
steering it? Nothing,
That's not the Mary Celeste you went on, is it?
No, but I think it is a ghost ship, because when I get back, moving away, I could hear voices beside me, Turn
Really?
around and there's no one there, like, you know. There's another one on the left-hand side of me. There's no one there, like, you know.
Wow.
And I say to it, like, you're going to stand in front of me so I can see you.
Did they have an argument with you?
No. You know, I thought I was losing my marbles, like, you know.
Well, yeah, because obviously out there 3.5 weeks, it's quite plausible, isn't it?
Well, it is, really.
But you see this boat as clear as day. So you went up to it and you got on this boat, did you? Went in it?
Yeah, it's quite a big galley, like, you know, so I got in there, but I had to stoop because people in those days were a lot shorter, you see. I'm 6'2".
Blimey, yeah, you'd have to stoop.
I had to stoop underneath the beams and that sort of thing while I was in there, and I having a look around, and there's a few cannons and all that sort of thing like you would probably find, or something like that. And
nobody on board?
Nobody on board, no. I went into their captain's mess, like, you know, captain's cabin sort of thing, and there at this table there, he had food set out, that sort of thing, but he'd obviously been there for some time, like, because I put my hand on it, it was still warm.
Really?
I couldn't believe that, yeah.
So you were in the captain's mess, you went to the table and there's loads of food there that looked like it'd just been cooked and it's still warm.
Yeah, it's still warm.
And
so, there's no one around. I mean, you know, I put two and two together, like, you know, what's a ship like this doing there? It's way out of time, isn't it? It's centuries out.
That's weird, isn't it? And did you make out what age the ship was? Did it have a log?
No, we didn't have any logs. God, no, nothing like that. It's built of timber. We didn't have no logs.
Did it have a ship's log?
No, you didn't have a ship log. No. Not that I could find anyway. I wasn't there long enough. Did you go
down to where the minions went to their mess in their galley?
Where they were?
Well, you know, where the other crew members all eat and all sorts and that.
I popped down there quickly and I started hearing voices.
Did you? Was there anyone there?
But there was no one there. Like, you know, I had to look around there. You know, the thorough look all over the ship. I keep hearing voices. I thought it was going mad. Like, so I quickly gets up the deck, like, and gets on the rope and swings back on the trawler and then buggers off.
Didn't you eat anything?
No, I didn't eat anything. You know, I ain't eating nothing like that.
And when you're on your trawler, it vanished.
I must have taken something with me. I must have taken, I don't know, some spirits with me or something. And I don't mean the drinking kind either. You contracted ghostitis. Mind you, I did strap a keg of rum and that myself and swing over to my trawler.
Did it have kegs of cider on it?
No, I didn't have no kegs of cider.
Just rum.
Yeah, rum, yeah. So it must have been, you know, coming, I don't know where, maybe coming from Caribbean or something like that. I don't know.
And got lost. I guess
on my boat, and I start, you know, riding a bit further across with waves, because it's starting to get a bit choppy there. And I kept hearing these voices, one in the left there, one in the right. And I turned around, there's no bugger there.
What were they saying to you?
Well, they say, you need to go to west. I said, what? And the other one says, yeah, you need to go west, but only for about 3 or 4 miles, and that. Just follow the North Star.
Right.
And I said, what the hell are you going on about, pal? You know, that sort of thing. And I turned around, and there's, like I say, there's no one there. And I said, what's your name then? And he said, Dave.
Dave?
I said, what's your other one's name? What's the other mate's name over there? He said, Dave. I said, that's quite like that. I got 2 bloody goats on my boat.
So you had Dave talking to Dave, and you're in the middle of it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that's confusing. Is all their crew members called Dave?
Well, I've only got 2 now, haven't I? You know, so there I am. I'm out on the ocean. It's a bit calm now. But I can't find no fish. I mean, I've got that fish finder out there. And there's none around. No, I don't know what they're up to, but it's no fish at all under there.
And can you still see the coast of Megagiffey?
No, I can't see the coast. I'm about 10 miles out now.
Hmm.
I'm going out a little bit further because I want to get away from that ghost ship.
Yeah, but you've got a tracker and all sorts there, haven't you?
Well, yeah, I got a tracker.
I like
exactly
tracker bars. They're
be.
nice. You ever had tracker bar?
I know exactly where I'll be. I'm just about 12 miles offshore. I want to get to about 26 miles offshore and then try and get some sleep. Bloody Dave keeps Dave one, I should say, he keeps nattering my ear off. We need to say we need to go west now. We need to go west.
He keeps telling you to go west?
Yeah.
That Go West. That was a good band. That was Go West.
Well, he's still around. but I started going the other way, didn't I? Because I didn't believe it. Because the other day, Dave 2, he told me to go east.
So you got Dave 1 saying go west. You got Dave 2 saying go east.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, you might as well just go straight, ain't you?
Yeah, well, yeah. I ended up doing it. I turned to east, and I thought, what the hell's going on here?
I've never spoke to a man that's had ghosts arguing which way to go. That's just phenomenal. I'm sure the scientific world is sitting up in their seats listening to this.
Yeah, but I ain't pissed, yeah. Oh, God, no. I had my lot with them, and I thought, well, that's it, So I just stopped the engines, and I went down into my bunk, and I just went to try and get some sleep. And the next thing I know, something flicking my left ear.
Really? Was that Dave getting amorous?
Yeah, he's one of them, and I said, hey, what you doing? Oh, bloody hell, bugger me. I can see him. Well,
you can see him?
I can see it, yeah.
Well, he actually materialised into a human form.
Yeah, and he picked up his cup. He said, do you want a brew?
So he walked... I bet you were. I bet you were pinching yourself. I bet you thought you were still asleep.
Yeah, and he said, I'll go get you one. And then, of course, I got pinked in the other ear. I said, was this Dave 2? He said, yeah, he called me Dave 2, but my real name is Reginald.
Reginald?
Well, we stick with Dave.
It's not Dave at all, it's Reginald.
Yeah, well, we stick with Dave 2. I said, whoever call you Dave 2. He goes, that's all right for me. No, it wasn't him. I see him on TV. No, it didn't look like nothing like him.
So this Dave 1 went and made a cup of tea. What was he dressed like? In old pirate gear, I suppose, was he?
I want old pirate gear. He's just an old seaman, like old Navy.
Oh, right.
So, I reckon he was part of the old Navy something back in those days.
How old do you think he is then?
I then asked him, because we've only just sort of met, if you like.
What, is he down there still making you a cup of tea, is he?
Yeah, he don't have gas and nothing like that, not on the board. No, he's got stoked a bit of fire and that sort of thing.
Oh, yeah.
Run out of gas. Run out of gas. That's one thing I didn't bring on board was the bloody bottle of gallon gas, wasn't it?
Well, he wouldn't know what to do with that. Do you reckon they're from the past?
Well, that's rather obvious, isn't it?
Well, yeah, they got cannons on board, and how?
Yeah, on board the other ship. Yeah, on board the old, well, I call it ghost ship, not their ghost ship.
Aren't they missing their ghost ship?
No, I don't know. Like I say, they just materialised to me. I don't know.
Well, I think it's incredible. Ghosts turn into human bodies. Are they? Yeah. Are they nice? They're pleasant, are they?
Well, I ain't heard much from Dave 2, but Dave 1, he's bringing me. Hopefully, in a minute, gonna bring me a brew, like, you know. I don't know if I'm going to slip any poison in it, and I don't know.
Well, I mean, you got to be careful because, you know, I mean, you even doubting that it potentially could bring poison might happen, mightn't it?
Well, you never know.
But
hey, you know, I'm one of those.
You should maybe get Dave to drink it first.
I'm gonna go. I'm one of those that don't give a shit. If you're gonna go, you're gonna go. So, you know, right? Many people on the oceans are gonna turn around and say, "Where I got the ghost's hands," you know. So, you know, we find this great. This is the thing that bothers me because we can't find any fish at all. No fish at all. No.
Well,
fish.
maybe what's happened is maybe you've gone through a time-dimensional loop portal that's taken you through time-dimensional realities to take you through a flume ride in hyperdrive, down through a lot of different dimensional spaces to then come out in the sea by this ship.
No, you know that. I mean, you talk to my brother Seth about that. I mean, that's well on my head. That is. They were time interdimensional, this and that. That's the thing. No, I'm just a simple fisherman.
Yeah.
I'm just going out there, and I just seen a ghost ship, and I've been on board, and obviously brought a couple of spirits with me, but ain't the right kind. You know, I did take a barrel of rum, and you know, and then sometimes they do argue. Sometimes, like,
do they?
You know, and I have to stop them. Yeah.
What do they argue? What did ghosts argue about?
What are you arguing about? Who's going to be my favour? I say, oi, I don't give a shit. I say, you know, you want to be on my boat? You stay over there. You stay over there.
Well, at least you're not lonely, are you? Because you've got people now.
You chuck them nets out when I say so. You chuck them nets outside. Excuse me.
And there's no fish in the water.
Now there's smoke coming up the galley. I'll have to pop down. Hang on.
Well, he might have set fire to something. He might not know what a kettle is.
No, it's all right. It's all right. All right. Don't worry. Nothing serious. You had to eat it out on a pan, like, you know.
All right. Well, at least you got somebody there can help you on the show.
Here about half a day, like, you know. So I don't know what, you know. I haven't spoken to him properly yet. You know, I'm going to sit down and talk to him a little later. You know, all of a sudden, then
you might not be where you think you are. Do you know what I mean?
I know. I'm on the water somewhere.
Yeah, but it could be the water back in the 1700s.
It could well be. I don't know.
Is that ghost ship still there, or has it vamooshed?
No, I put the old throttle down on my trawler and then got well away from there.
Wow.
So I don't know where he be, but I did accelerate a little hard. The engines were starting to overheat a little bit, so that's what I stopped. Like, you know.
Right.
So it was about 26 miles out, and so I went a bit east. Well, sorry, I went west and went east as they told me to, you know. So you go that way, you need to go that way. I thought I stopped there, and I go north. And I just stopped. So, yeah. But no fish, it's what I can't understand. You know,
well, it's very weird, isn't it?
For all my life I have.
I mean, you must have been...
a single fish underneath I can't see.
You must have been...
I got all the latest scanners and all that sort of shit, but I can't see bugger all underneath.
You must have been a seaman for years.
Yeah, I've been a seaman, yeah. I've been trawlerman for years, you know. I'm 74 now.
74? Crikey, you should be in home.
No, I don't be at home. I'd much rather be on the way.
Have you got a wife at home waiting for you?
Yeah, you know, she's just out here. I'm so sorry I couldn't be with her 32nd birthday yesterday. Because I was out.
A 32nd birthday?
Yeah.
Yeah. How old are you? 78?
79, I be.
79 and your wife's 38.
32.
32.
Yesterday.
Blimey, that's really good, isn't it?
Where's the Cornish air, you see, you know?
Yeah. I bet you've got a big beard as well, haven't you?
Well, I ain't going into that. But,
And
you know, hang on a minute. Hang on. Yeah. All right, you just steer down there and right over to the left a little bit. Go about 2 miles over that way, and we'll see what fish is over there. All right, I just seen this boat. Dave one's just brought up my coffee, and he's going to steer a ship over that way, or trawler, boat, whatever you want to call it.
does he speak English? Or does
no,
he?
He don't speak.
Or does he speak Ghostish?
Ghostish.
What are
you doing, Ghostish? What you are about there?
Oh dear.
Are you all right there?
Yeah, I'm all right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to have a reasonable conversation with you, and you keep bloody laughing.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I'm trying to take this serious. Sorry.
Well, I keep telling you, wherever I turn, there's no fish. I don't know what's happening with them.
Well, you got to find some, because otherwise you won't have nothing to eat.
No, I got some. I got some in the hole there, you know, eat ice, that sort of thing. I'm all right. You know, I'm all right for the next couple of months or so.
Well, is it night time there, or is it daylight?
I don't know. Well, it should be. It should be daylight. You know, hang on. I'll just go pop up because I'm underneath. Like, you know, where I'm in my cabin. All right, I'll pop up. Hang on.
So you left them to run the ship? Oh my God.
Just get up the steps.
Yeah, that's a big.
Looking out. Oh, yeah, it's a lovely day. Yes.
Is it?
Yeah, it's sunlight. Yeah.
Is there any seagulls?
Beautiful. Yeah, I've just seen 5. One's just landed on the top of the mast there. But, yeah. But there ain't many else. Mind you, I can't be, you know, they're only going to get a few out here because I was about 26 to 30 miles out, so they don't fly out that far normally. Well,
no, there's no one out there with fish and chips, is there?
No, that's right. You know, oh God, I can tell you a story about that. It never gets to. Oh dear, no, you ain't gonna go there.
You're not gonna go there.
No, I ain't gonna go there with that story. No.
So, I mean, you know what? So you've got to stay out there, and now you're on a.
They do speak to me, yeah.
What do they speak? Do they speak English, or are they Russian or Polish or something?
Well, it's difficult. I understand them because you know, they come out and every other word is something I can understand, like, you know. But obviously back then, I mean, they spoke a different kind of dialect, you know, different kind of English, I suppose.
Right. I don't know.
I get a gist of it. But you know, it's weird. It really is. But I'm loving it. Like, you know, at least I've got someone to talk to. Well,
yeah. But aren't you interested? Aren't you interested where they come from and what year you're in?
Well, I've only known them half a day. You know, I haven't really settled down and spoke to them properly. Like,
I mean, they'd probably be able to. You'd be able to sleep because ghosts, they don't sleep or anything, do they? They don't even drink or eat or anything.
I don't know what they do. You know, I've never counted them before. But you know, they seem happy enough. They seem, you know, they're willing to please. And yeah, I don't really know. I'm going to sit them down later. I was going to have a few mugs of rum, and we're going to have a good old chit chat.
Well, that sounds great, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
Oh, I think it's fascinating.
Well, we'll see. You know, because I can't get back in line, can I?
Well, no, you've got to stay out there, haven't you?
Because I can't take these two with me, can I?
Well, I don't know.
Well,
I know. Well, they'd need to go in probably containment as well. But you know, I mean, you'd probably be all right if you went back with your boat, because airports and that, they're not checking anyone. So you'd probably be all right. Get off your boat and walk home.
Yeah, but I mean, that's all right. But what about Dave and Dave? Because they don't know where airplane is, do they?
Well, that's true. Yeah. But I mean, I think that you have a problem when you go home to your 32-year-old wife and you've got 2 days with you.
Yeah, but they make sure they're not there.
All right.
They're not really looking forward to giving her one. A cup of coffee, that is.
All right. Yes. Yes. That's what I thought you meant.
Yeah, absolutely. Because nobody pleases me more than giving my wife a cup of coffee.
I bet you miss her, don't you?
I do, yeah, I do. But she does send me, well, she did send me occasional broadcasts, like, you know.
Does she? What? Have you got a mobile phone you can talk to her on then?
No, not mobile phone. It's a radio, like, you know. But I haven't heard from her for the last 3 days, you know.
All
so
right.
I don't know what's going on.
Well, it sounds to me you're in a different dimension, because
the way you were going on is if it's like it's dark, but tonight it's light here.
yeah,
It's sunshine, and the sea's calm. You know, I don't know what's going on.
well, that's very, very strange. Hopefully you'll catch some fish,
We can't find any fish.
or you'll come to an island.
Well, yeah, you never know. You know, coming to an island, and then what do I do then?
Well, I don't know. It depends where it is.
I drop anchor, I suppose I go board the island, but what are there savages there? What there's, you know?
Well, it could be savages. I mean, if you actually made a detour for Sweden, you could get off there. You'd be all right.
Well, good night, because the water here, I can walk down the streets there, no problem.
Well, no problem at all.
No problem at all. But I mean, I don't know all this bloody virus type thing. I can't get hold of it, you know.
Well, I don't want you to get hold of it.
I don't want to get hold of it, but you know, out here, there's no such thing, like, you know.
Well, no. I mean, all you get out there is well, you've got a ghost virus, haven't you?
Ghost virus? Well, yeah, it might be. You know what? I mean, this whole thing, from what I gather, could be a ghost virus.
It sounds like it, yeah.
Could be, but I don't know. I mean, I can't really have an opinion on it because I don't know an awful lot about it. Because I say I've been out here, 3 months and all, and you know, but my main concern is I can't find no fish.
Well, yeah, I suppose it would be, because that's what you do. You fish, don't you? Normally, you get loads of fish.
Normally, yeah.
Can't
fish, yeah.
You know? Can't you even get crabs?
No, because there's no one here to give me crabs, is there? But there's nothing, no sea life at all underneath for our scanners.
Oh dear.
There's
no electric eels or anything like that.
No, nothing. No life underneath at all.
No sharks, no whales.
No, nothing. I even dived over yesterday.
What, you dived overboard?
Yeah, have a look.
Oh,
like, just in case my electronics and that were playing up, like.
Was it warm when you got in?
Yeah, it was very warm.
Wow.
It's almost like swimming pool, it were.
Really?
So I dived in there, and I had to look around, and it's, you know, seaweed and all the normal sort of things, but there's no fish.
There's seaweed?
They're up to something, maybe.
Well, it sounds very odd to have no fish in a sea, isn't it?
Where I am, yeah. I mean, normally, where I am, there's plentiful fish, but they're also gone somewhere.
Well, you know, it's called a fishy towel, isn't it?
Yeah, that's good. I like that. I like that. A bit of humour, yeah. Yeah. You know, I need a bit of humour out here because talking to Dave can be a little bit boring.
Well, yeah, it sounds like it. Mind you, you get some. I mean, I don't know if they drink rum or whatever, because you know they might drink it and it might just fall out of them because they're ghosts.
Well, let's put it this way, I don't know. I should find out later. We may even go right through them.
Well, might do, yeah, that's true. I mean,
that'd be waste out, wouldn't it?
You'll be you'll be the first person to sit down and have a conversation with two ghosts called Dave and Dave.
Yeah, I know. We don't have to stick a bucket underneath them. One eye in case the rum does go right through them.
Oh, yeah.
At least I can bloody retrieve the rum, can't I?
I mean, in their bodies they're in, do they walk through doors or open them?
No. They're quite accommodating. They are. Like they open doors normally, you know, because look, they did start to walk through, and I said, "Oi, no, on my boat, you don't walk through doors. You aren't there normally," and they respected my authority, and they started opening the doors and walking through naturally.
Have you come across ghosts before? I forgot your name now. It's terrible, isn't it? Oh yeah, you're Mr. Had It, isn't it? Have you
had it?
Yeah, you've had it.
Lately though, when I've had it a while ago.
Have you come across ghosts before, Mr. Had It?
No, never seen them. I heard about them, but I never seen them before.
Yeah. Well,
but you ain't got time to be scared out here on the waves, have you?
Well, the sea is scary enough as it is, because it can change just like that. And it sounds to me like that you've gone through some time-dimensional portal. You'll find you're not nowhere near Cornwall. You're out in the Pacific somewhere.
Well, I don't know. I mean, my brother, he's one of those who could, you know, he's one of them theorists, like, you know what I mean? He's one of those conspiracy type dummy persons.
Oh, right, yeah.
And he was saying, you know, some point, any time, you know, the world could change or whatever, you might find yourself somewhere on a different planet even.
Well, you could even be on a different planet, couldn't you?
I don't know, you know, I'm beginning to, you know, things are going through my head, what he said several, you know, years ago. And I don't know where it's true now. It might even be true.
Wow.
But
unbelievable.
I don't know how I got hold of you anyway, because I just picked the radio up, you know, and just picked it up and they say, hello, is there anyone there? And you answered, like, you know.
All right. So you're talking to me not on the telephone, but on your radio.
Yeah. It's weird, isn't it?
That is a bit weird. It means when you pick your radio up to talk to somebody, you've got me.
Yeah, I mean, it might even be some kind of trans-dimensional radio.
Well, it could be, yeah. It could be. You could have know what conversations you had with Dave and Dave.
Yeah, I will. Well, there's only 2 days, not 3. God, that would be confusing, that word, wouldn't it?
Well, yeah. It's not confusing having 2 days, but have 3, it'd be very confusing.
Oh, that would be very confusing, that word. But yeah, because wait, Dave. Like, jump overboard.
Well,
I've done that once.
Yeah, but if he jumps overboard, he won't actually swim, will he? Because he'll just, you know, won't he just evaporate into the water?
No, they're in human form at the moment, and because I wish they were in human form, so they made a bit of a splash, but.
Oh, I think we're losing your radio.
No.
Oh.
They told me, no, back in. I said, all right, come in, man. I don't like the warm water.
So these are people that are on another ship, a ghost ship. They're ghosts. And they're obviously sailors or whatever. And they actually don't like the sea.
No, they don't like that water around here for some reason. I don't know what it is.
Is it the same colour? Is it blue?
Yeah, it's blue, yeah. But they didn't like getting in that water. I don't know why.
Well, that's weird, isn't it?
They wanted it out straight away. There ain't no fish, no sharks, no nothing. I don't know. It's strange.
Very odd.
Yeah, it's very odd.
Well, when you find out where you are and you've had your conversation with the Daves, and you know a little bit more, you're obviously going to come back and tell us, because I'm intrigued. I mean, there you are, floating around in your trawler, trying to get fish to Anthony in a warm sea that's like a bath, with two ghosts that materialized into human form, that can walk through doors, but you told them not to because you're back captaining your ship, aren't you? And you know, you couldn't make it up if you tried, could you? It's immense.
No, where did it? Where did it? You ain't gonna got some stories to tell the local pub when I get back. Oh yeah.
Well, you might not ever get back there. You might be somewhere else. You might be on another planet. A lot of people think I'm on another planet.
Yeah, I don't know where I get back at all. I don't know where I am. You know, I mean, the compass at the moment, it's just going round and round. So I don't know where I am.
Wow, you could be you could be anywhere, couldn't you?
I could be anywhere.
But I'll tell you what, it's a bloody good signal.
Yeah, it's not bad, is it? So I'll have to call you during the week, you know.
Yeah, yeah, you can do actually. If you get your radio type thing working, once you've spoken to Dave, and everything, yeah, you can. I mean, obviously you won't know what time, but you'll obviously get an idea, because I expect your handset vibrates or something, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, sort of. I mean, I just get this thing flashing on the screen there, or my fish finder.
Your fish finder that's telling you to ring me.
Well, yeah, it's come up, and because this thing, YouTube or something, come up, you know, for a second or two, and I click on there, and I started seeing your show. Like,
all right.
You know, your thing you're doing on there.
Maybe I'm on another dimension doing this as well.
I find no fish, but I mean, I could find you on there.
Well, that's immense.
I'll give you up Thursday evening now.
Yeah, I'm back on Thursday, so yeah, give us come back to us. What's your first name?
There's Captain.
It's Captain Adit. Yes.
Captain Adit. Yeah.
We will listen to Captain Haddock, because he's gonna Haddock. It's not Haddock, is it? It's Hadit.
No, Hadit.
You've had it.
Hadit. No, not for some time, but yeah.
Captain Hadit is going to come back to us on Thursday night, giving us his live update, by the way, wherever he is, on whatever water that's warm, with ghosts that materialize in his human form that walk through doors, but he doesn't let them on his ship, but makes nice tea, apparently. So you'll have to let us know what happens when you sit down and have a little party with some rum.
Yeah, I will do. Yeah.
Well, that's great.
I say goodbye for now. When
well, you take it easy, and I hope you find some fish.
Yes, so do I. But I got enough for 3 months or so, but I need to find some fish soon.
Well, yes, because you need to eat.
Oh, absolutely.
You can't eat ghosts.
No, I can't eat them. They don't eat. No, they don't eat.
No, well, that's all right. At least you ain't got to feed them.
No, it ain't bad, is it? Having 2 crew members, well, you know, 3 of us, right? 1 of us eat.
Well, that's good. Well,
can't be bad, can I?
We will speak to you on Thursday.
Yeah, I taught you that.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you, Captain Hadit.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
And I'll speak to them, and you take it steady on that ocean. Oh my God. Well, there you are. That's a first. I've never ever spoken to somebody that's in a time-dimensional portal somewhere else. What do we got here? Just checking the. Where are we? Just checking my. What's it? No. So somebody there says yes, it is a zoo. Well, I don't disagree with them. In a way, I'll tell you what, tonight has been an absolutely fascinating show. It's nice to get from Vanish and look at the other soap suds that are happening in our reality. And I've really enjoyed tonight's show. It's been really good, and thank you very much for being part of it. All the guests, that's Linda and Yolandi, and Daniela and Captain Hadit. And I really look forward to speaking to you all again on Thursday. Now, Thursday night is the new night for the Inview. I know it's gone Wednesday. It's now on Thursdays. There's a reason for that. Thursday night will be where you can contact the show. It will be put out there. There's no guests, apart from sounds like Captain Hadit's going to ring up or message me or something or do something. We come together on a Thursday night, and you can ring the show. I'll put out the numbers and everything and contact points, and you can contact me and talk about anything you want to. It doesn't have to be about Vanish. It can be about anything. It can be about how exciting your washing machine is, or how you get on hoovering your house. It can be anything you want to talk about. You know, how many leaves are on my plant, whatever. You know, you can talk to them about anything. But if you do have worries and everything about what we're sitting at the moment, then you know, we can talk about that as well. I'll go back to what I said at the beginning of this show. Whatever is put out there, whatever fears we have inside ourselves, it's very important that we hold the space of unity of what we all are within inside ourselves, which a lot of people talked about tonight. That's the sacred soul we carry. We are all interlinked. We are all intermeshed. Now we make choices, and we can be the yin and yang. We can be good or we can be bad. People choose that route. Those that work in light, yes, there can be problems, issues, hierarchical things at times and stuff. But what's important is what we feel and what's going on. And everyone would completely agree what we're sitting at the moment is wrong and different in lots of different ways. Might have different opinions on why, but that's what it is at the end of the day. So, you know, we have to hold the creative edge of what ourselves is. We have to use all the books of our soul, and we have to have the understanding of what we're going to do with it. And for those awakening or those that want to open up, they need to look at themselves, delve in, jump in. You know, there's no pressures here, because we're going to have another month of this, I'm sure, come Monday. And I'm sure we'll be talking about it on Thursday. But, you know, if you haven't subscribed, do subscribe to this channel. And you will get updates of when I'm on and everything. And obviously, it's going to be a Sunday, Thursday. And also share and like, because when I've done this show, it's not only on this channel, it will be put onto Facebook so people can watch it. We'll send it out to people as well so they can have a look as well. I think tonight's show's been fantastic, and thank you very much, all of you, for taking part, listening, watching, whatever you're doing. And I look forward to speaking to you all on Thursday this week, where we will be opening our switchboards to you, and that is through phone. And just to let you know, it's 07403 436 942. That is in phoning me or texting me on Thursday night, or you can message me at Clint Denyer on WhatsApp, or you can message me on that phone number 07403 436 942, or you can Facebook Live me. I mean, there's so many ways to communicate with me, so do not hesitate in doing that. Okay. And if I haven't read any comments out tonight, I do apologize. I will save them, and I will read them out when I'm next on. So thank you very much for listening. Have a very safe and pleasant week out there, and all stay safe. That's the most important thing. And let's move forward. Let's reflect. Let's connect, and let's have a unity. All right. See you all on Thursday night. Thank you very much.